Chapter 31. Chapter 31, Battle Starts, 2. We'll take action in half an hour. Pass down the instructions to end the battle in 3 minutes, and everyone must retreat after 5 minutes. After leaving the city, everyone will spread out and escape. Do you understand? Yes. The man immediately replied and soon disappeared to inform the various parties. After the man left, the old man looked toward Nanyuan Mid-Grade Academy once again, mumbling, Great Xia Prefecture. Are they really unable to deploy even a few soaring realm personnel? A.U. Chen Hao was squatting at the canteen's entrance with Su Yu, looking around while saying softly, Why are we waiting here? A teacher called out earlier for all the students to gather to have an academy meeting after school. Aren't we going? We aren't going. Su Yu held on to the blade in his hand and said in a soft voice, It's safer in smaller numbers. When there are more people, it'll be a little dangerous. Huh? Chen Hao was puzzled. Hence, Su Yu said softly, Stop with the crap. There might be trouble today. Members from the All Races sect are coming. Hence, we'll just stay here. There are fewer people here. No, A.U., you're saying, that the All Races sect's members are coming? Then we have to hurry up and meet up with the teachers. We're just in the Origin Opening Realm and not in the 1,000-pound realm. Chen Hao panicked. Well, he wasn't really that scared. There had been drills conducted and explanations given by the Academy on how they should react in situations such as encountering members of the All Races sect or going to the All Skies battlefield. During times like these, they should gather and meet up with the teachers. The teachers would protect them. There are too few teachers and most of them have to fight, with a minority left behind to protect the students. There will at most be 3 to 5 teachers left behind in each class to protect the students. Given that there are many students in the class, in the event of any dangers, the teachers won't be able to protect everyone. Su Yu said softly, they will have less pressure if they have fewer people to protect. But, what if we encounter? A.U., let's go back. Chen Hao started to become a little anxious. Su Yu smiled and said, Don't worry. We're just 2 students wandering by ourselves and are in the Origin Opening Realm. The experts won't bother to give us a second look. We'd die even if we were to encounter those in the 1,000-pound realm. That's why we should try our best to hide well. If we were to really encounter enemies. Su Yu looked up toward Chen Hao. Do you trust me? I do. If we were to encounter one, you could just start scolding them with all you've got, getting them to try to kill you first. We won't be standing together but stationed on different sides, one on the left and the other on the right. If he were to kill you, he'd definitely not be on guard against an insignificant student like me. Chen Hao was stunned. I'll go kill him. Chen Hao became crestfallen. If you trust me, we'll do this. We mustn't go over to where the academy head and the others are. We'll just be creating trouble for them. We mustn't go to the classes either or once again, we will just be creating trouble for them. We're too weak. In such situations, we're just targets. Then the other students are targets as well. Should we call them over and hide together? Stupid. How are we supposed to hide with so many people? They'll really die if they wander out by themselves. We still have a chance. Su Yu wasn't too scared either. His father had told him a lot of stories of killing the myriad races, and the Academy's eventual goal was to also teach them to kill members of the myriad races. There was nothing to be scared about. He just felt a little unsettled since this was his first time encountering enemies. He was afraid that his legs might turn limp from the fright. If Chen Hao were to really start scolding the enemy and they were to go after him, what was he going to do if his legs turned limp? Moreover, what would happen if they were to encounter 2 enemies? What about 3? It'll be all right. The experts will definitely go after the other experts. Those who look for the scattered students in the academy must be the weak ones since the students are too weak. Since there aren't any students in the 1,000-pound realm, there isn't a need for them to group up to search. There's no reason to send 3 or 5 people out to do something that one person can do by themselves. The academy isn't small. If they were to really group up, they'd have to send several thousand people. I don't believe that they can have several thousand people infiltrating in. Then Nanyuan would be too foolish. Moreover, if there were really so many people, staying with the teachers would also be a dead end. There shouldn't be a situation like this. Suyu assessed the situation in his heart while dragging Chen Hao into the canteen. He then looked for a corner and said in a soft voice, "You'll hide here, squatting and looking like you're shivering in fear. If it's just one enemy, you just make a little commotion by yourself. If there are 2, then run. Run with all your might." There was a small door here, and Chen Hao could run out through that. He quickly nodded. "Then what about you?" Suyu pointed to a corner at the side. "I'll hide over there. Don't look in my direction, or you'll be sending me to my death. Do you understand?" "I understand." Chen Hao immediately nodded and then said with a crestfallen face, "You, why not, let's just go look for my father." "That's nonsense. If we were to go out by ourselves right now, we'd be courting death." Suyu scolded softly, "I have no idea what the exact arrangements are, but your father and the others probably have missions too. Don't go thinking about useless things. Just pray that my legs won't go limp later. Otherwise, you'll be a goner." You're going to kill." Chen Hao said with a bitter face, "You won't be able to do it. Why don't I hide and be the one to give them a sneak attack?" "You." Suyu couldn't be bothered with him. He took a deep breath and said, "You'll have difficulty to even break through their defenses. Just watch and see. Moreover, according to the rules, if we can kill a member of the all-races sect, Hao Zi, you'll have hope to get into a war academy." The moment Suyu said this, Chen Hao's gaze instantly gleamed. He had forgotten the bit of fear he had felt earlier. That was right. The academy had a rule that if they were to kill a member of the all-races sect and could prove their identity, it'd get them additional points. Of course, this rule hadn't been imposed for many years as all the students were in the origin opening realm. How were they supposed to kill a member of the all-races sect? Chapter 32. Chapter 32, Battle Starts, 3. It'd be hard to kill them even with poison. Of course, there were geniuses who had done that before, but would geniuses care for the additional points? Could it be, that you're doing this for me? Chen Hao felt very touched. He felt really touched, so touched that he was almost on the verge of tears. Suyu rolled his eyes. In times like this, one would be a greater target when in a crowd. Of course, if you were to really kill an enemy, they could talk about that later. Suyu might not really dare to say that he was the one to kill the person. How was he, someone in the origin opening realm, able to kill an expert? But if the opportunity is suitable and I really kill one, we can create the scene and let Hao Zi get the additional points to get into a war academy. It was almost impossible for someone in the origin opening realm to kill a person in the 1,000-pound realm. But almost meant that there was a chance. It wasn't as if people in the 1,000-pound realm couldn't be killed. If they were careless and got chopped in the neck, they would still die. As for why the 1,000-pound realm member of the all-races sect would be so foolish, go ask the dead. How would Suyu know? Then it's best to not use the laceration skill but to chop him to his death with the blade. Suyu grabbed the blade in his hand. When the time came, his hands would be filled with power and he would hack the enemy to death with a single blade attack. As long as they didn't run, the chances of him succeeding would be very high. Would a person at the 1,000-pound realm flee when encountering a sneak attack from someone at the origin opening realm? There was a high chance that they wouldn't. As he was thinking of this, an explosive bellow instantly rang out from outside. All students, gather together. Those who don't gather better find somewhere to hide. We're under enemy attack. The B***stars from the All Races sect have come. Don't panic and listen to the teacher's instructions, form the spherical lock formation and protect yourself. Close all the doors. All teachers, come out to face the enemies. Guards, gather. City guards, wind arrest hall, charge forth. Kill. A round of enraged bellows rang out and the entire Nanyuan Academy moved. At this moment, Suyu wasn't scared at all. He was feeling a little nervous and had some hot blood surging within him, but he didn't feel scared at all. He trusted that the teachers could win, and he almost couldn't hold back the urge to go out and take a look at how the teachers kill the enemies. When his father was at home, he'd often share with Suyu some stories of his glorious past. An army of 10,000 or even 100,000 men had charged forth to kill the enemies, leaving corpses everywhere, making rivers of blood flow. They killed so much that the myriad realms were shivering. In the all-skies battlefield, the human race was invincible wherever their blades were pointed at. I really want to go and take a look. Suyu was a little impulsive, but Chen Hao was even more impulsive than he was. He held on to his blade tightly, having the urge to dash out. However, he quickly suppressed this thought for fear that he'd cause Suyu's death. Kill. As weapons clashed, the sounds instantly rang out through the academy. Other than kill, there were almost no other sounds. In battles, there wasn't a need for anything else but to listen to orders. Outside the Nanyuan Academy's teaching building, several hundred people from both sides started a massacre the moment they came into contact. There wasn't any exchange of words at all. The Longwu Guard's 10-men small group instantly surrounded the old man who was at the 4th level of the Soaring Realm under the lead of the team leader, Xia Bing. Xia Bing, who was at the 2nd level of the Soaring Realm, was clad in gold armor and held a long blade in his hands. He showed no hesitation and let out a stifled bellow. Form formation. Kill. The 10 men rapidly surrounded the old man and 10 long blades slashed through the air. The battle started. The city lord, Wu Wenhai, who was supposed to be guarding the city, rose into the air from the rooftop of the city lord's residence at the next instant. He was similarly wielding a long blade and killed his way toward the woman in the blink of an eye. Wu Wenhai, you're the one who came to court death. The woman let out a fierce roar. Wu Wenhai was really here. Fortunately, they had predicted this earlier. When the middle-aged man, who was named Scarless, saw that the two Soaring Realm individuals were fighting against each other and even the people from the Longwu Guards were being held back, he immediately felt a burst of joy and dashed for Lu Wenyan who was far away. He didn't give a damn about the others. Your opponent is me. And me. Two men instantly came attacking. One of them wielded a saber and the other one a sword. Zhang Yun, Zheng Hua. The middle-aged man called out the duo's name and let out a cold snort. He recognized them. They were respectively the city guard's 1,000-man leader and the Wind Arrest Hall's hall lord, and they were both at the 9th level of the 10,000 stone realm. However, how could they rival someone at the Soaring Realm? Kill. The two of them didn't say a word. There was no need to communicate with B***stars from the All Races sect. They should kill him first before any talk. Bang! The crisp sounds of weapons clashing rang out. At the next instant, Scarless soared into the air, passing by the two of them and heading straight for Lu Wenyan. There were quite a number of teachers at the 1,000-pound realms there as well. Their target today wasn't the city lord, those Soaring Realm individuals, nor these two high-ranking officers in Nanyuan. Their target was the Academy's geniuses, people like Lu Yu who were like the fire of civilization. They were the valuable ones. A few teachers in the 1,000-pound realm stood in front of Lu Wenyan, raising their blades and wanting to attack. The two experts at the 9th level of the 10,000 stone realm also reacted very quickly, giving chase in the blink of an eye. Zhang Yun rushed forth and slashed his saber at Scarless who was in the air. Over our dead bodies. An explosive howl rang out and the two of them surrounded Scarless once again. Courting death. The two men at the 9th level of the 10,000 stone realm gave it all they had. Scarless was only in the 2nd level of the soaring realm, not that high in level within the soaring realm. Therefore, he was instantly entangled and started fighting the two men. Otherwise, it would be very easy for him to become a target in the air. Teacher Lu, you should go first. The few teachers in the 1,000-pound realm who were protecting Lu Wenyan quickly pulled the old man to get him to leave. However, Lu Wenyan didn't budge and looked around. There were killings everywhere. Hence, he couldn't help but scold, they really think highly of Nanyuan. Those B** stars from the Great Xia Prefecture definitely know that many soaring realm experts are coming here, but they have gone to support the other cities instead of us. Everyone was puzzled, but they didn't have the time to ask him questions now. Lu Wenyan continued scolding, do they have such great trust that I'll be able to succeed? Will be a goner if I can't. They are joking around with other people's lives. Don't let me find out who was the one who gave the order, or I'll kill him. Some people from the Great Xia Prefecture believed that he'd be able to manifest his will today. The crucial thing was, what happened if his will manifestation wasn't successful? Lu Wenyan continued nagging, mumbling, and scolding, not appearing like a graceful scholar at all. I'm the trashiest one of all, so how can I definitely pull this off? Aren't they placing too much trust in me? I'm just a failure. It's not as if you guys don't know this. Otherwise, why would I be fired? Lu Wenyan continued mumbling away, feeling a little sad. If I wasn't so useless, how could I not have been able to manifest my will successfully despite my age? I want to do it too, but it's really very difficult. You guys are too vicious, using the lives in the academy to force me. I knew it. You guys are inhumane. If I succeed in the will manifestation, the first thing I'll do is to look for you guys to take revenge. Lu Wenyan continued mumbling away, but now a golden light was shining above his head. His body was trembling and his feet slowly left the ground. At this moment, the countenances of everyone in the vicinity changed slightly. The academy head, who was caught up in a fight with someone in the far distance, broke into a smile when he saw this. As expected, this old man needs a bit of a push to succeed. From today onward, there's one more individual in the soaring realm. Those in the 10,000 stone realm, stop chasing after the others. Hurry up and come. Scarless let out an explosive bellow. He saw this scene as well and looked astonished as he cried out angrily, hurry up and come to kill these two B** stars. The moment he finished his words, multiple people in the 10,000 stone realm cut through the air, rushing over. Scarless instantly broke free from the two men holding him back and charged toward Lu Wenyan to kill him. He mustn't let this old man succeed in manifesting his will. Otherwise, even if they managed to kill some students today, their mission's success would still be greatly discounted. Chapter 33. Chapter 33, First Battle, 1. Outside, the slaughter continued. In the canteen, Su Yu and Chen Hao could only hear the sounds of blades and swords clashing, painful cries, and students' screams of shock. However, they didn't dare to peek. Were they having the upper hand or at a disadvantage? Even Su Yu, who firmly believed that the teachers could win, didn't know what the situation outside was like. A.U. In his corner, Chen Hao held tightly onto his blade, his countenance turning a little pale and also a little flushed. He wanted to ask Su Yu if they should go out. However, Su Yu ignored him. His left ear kept on twitching slightly as he was listening to the sounds outside. Having reached the 4th level of the origin opening realm, his battle prowess hadn't risen much. However, his hearing had become a lot sharper. Shush! Su Yu put his index finger in front of his lips, gesturing for Chen Hao to be quiet. A short moment later, the sound of heavy footsteps came from outside without any attempts of concealing it. Hurry up and come out. The academy has made arrangements for you guys to leave. Go gather at the south gate. A slightly anxious voice rang out. A short moment later, a man in his 30s entered the canteen with a blade and called out, "Are there any students here? Hurry up. We won't be able to hold them off for much longer. The members of the All Races sect who have come are too strong. Hurry up and leave the academy." The anxious voice rang out together with the footsteps. Chen Hao moved slightly, looking at Su Yu with a bit of anxiety. Su Yu also squinted his eyes as he looked toward the entrance. He saw the person but wasn't familiar with him. However, there were over 200 teachers in the academy, and he wouldn't know all of them. Did a teacher come to look for them? Is there anyone here? The front lines can't hold them off for much longer. We must leave right away. Hurry up. The person looked very anxious. The canteen was very big, at least about several thousand square meters. It'd take at least a minute or more to search through the place, and it'd take too much time. In the corner, Chen Hao had trouble holding back when he heard the teacher's tone sounding so anxious and that those in the front lines couldn't hold on for much longer. This time around, he didn't wait for Su Yu's reply and quickly probed his head out, asking, "Teacher, how's the situation outside?" The man looked over, unable to conceal the joy in his eyes. Students were still students. They were too inexperienced. Even though the academies kept teaching them some rules of survival, it was still not enough. Prior to this, he had lured out 2 students that had been hiding in the combat room with these words. In just 10 seconds, he had managed to lure the 2 students out despite the many rooms on the entire floor. That was great because it would take him at least 2 minutes to search through all the places. These children hadn't experienced setbacks nor had been on the battlefields before. Hence, they would easily give their trust when given just a few words of deceit. The situation outside is very bad. Hurry up and come with me. If we don't leave, it'll be too late. As the man said this, he hurried in Chen Hao's direction. The man couldn't conceal the joy on his face. Amongst the 300 elites, 200 had gone to fend off those teachers, city guards, school guards, and those from the Winterest Hall. Even though the All Races sect's people had inferior numbers, they still had the upper hand in the situation. It was because most of their opponents were in the early or mid-levels of the 1,000-pound realm. The rest of their members either went to attack the classrooms or search for scattered students in the academy. If they were to attack the classrooms, the teachers would be fighting with their lives on the line to protect the students. On the other hand, although there weren't many scattered students and they were also hard to find, these students didn't have anyone to protect them. Therefore, it'd be easier to kill them. There were several thousand students around. Even if all of them appeared, each of the All Races sect's members would only be able to kill less than 10 of them. And he had gotten 3. In the next few minutes, he might be able to get a better harvest. Hurry up and come over, leave the academy. The man's speed was very fast. He didn't stop even as he spoke, dashing rapidly toward Chen Hao. In their eyes, killing students would only take a single slash, but it was hard to locate the scattered students. Hence, finding one successfully would be a meritorious service. Chen Hao stood up and wanted to go out while subconsciously glancing in Su Yu's direction. And at this moment, Su Yu was also looking at this teacher. When the man was talking in the beginning, Su Yu also thought that he was a teacher who came to look for students. However, Su Yu quickly noticed that something was amiss. It wasn't because he had a lot of experience, but because he had been chased and killed in his dreams too many times. The man's anxious tone sounded a lot like the cries of the ferocious beasts that had been chasing after him to kill him. It seemed to be shouting, "Hurry up and let me kill you. I can't wait anymore." Although this wasn't what his words meant, the pressing feeling and the urge of wanting to kill you were the same. It was the same tone. Su Yu couldn't help but take a few more looks. At the next moment, sweats broke out on Su Yu's forehead. He was a fake. Although the teachers might not wear uniforms, they would all put on their staff tags no matter what they wore. However, this guy didn't have one on him. Did he drop it? Were the battles too intense and he dropped it during a fight? No. Su Yu saw the long blade being raised slightly. It was the starting stance of a blade attack. This man was going to attack. Damn it. Hao Zi is a fool. Su Yu scolded in his heart and didn't have time to think too much. He also didn't have time to regret his carelessness as he lacked experience. After all, both he and Chen Hao were just students from a mid-grade academy and hadn't experienced such situations before. They had thought that the enemies would come after them in an open and aboveboard manner, looking fierce and scary. But who would have thought that the enemies would attempt to lure out weaklings like them? Teacher. With a soft cry, Su Yu quickly jumped, his heart palpitating. The man's hand paused and a feeling of joy rose in his heart. There's another one. That makes it 4. The hand with which Su Yu was holding the blade was drenched in sweat. He felt nervous, scared, and unsettled. However, he still hung on. He had been killed too many times in his dream, and even though he was scared, it was only because this was his first experience in real life. He got accustomed to things faster than other people. Teacher, are we really on the losing end outside? We have over 10 more students here. Can I call them over to join us? Chapter 34. Chapter 34, First Battle, 2. Su Yu hurriedly spoke and then even turned his head to cast a glance at the depths of the canteen. If not, they won't be able to leave anymore. There are still 10 plus more students. The man's joy shot through the roof. He was going to strike it rich. Today, he could kill over 10 students. Maybe even experts at the 10,000 stone realm wouldn't have greater credit compared to him. He had profited immensely. The man wanted to laugh wildly in joy, over 10 people at the origin opening realm. They were simply freebies. He could kill each with a single slash of his blade, and they wouldn't be able to escape. He originally wanted to end things fast, but at this moment, the man swiftly changed his mind. He hurriedly spoke, quickly, let's call them and gather together. We are going to leave immediately. Su Yu's heart was still pounding rapidly. He didn't say anything much and simply turned his back to the man. At this moment, as long as the man attacked, Su Yu would be finished. When Su Yu turned, he directly consumed a drop of essence blood. His back faced the man, and he began to walk toward the depths of the canteen. He then spoke with some unease in his tone, Teacher, can we bring more people to leave with us? I know several students hiding in other places. I wonder if we can save more. There are more. The man was wildly joyful. There are actually still more. At this moment, the man hurriedly followed Su Yu. As for Chen Hao, he couldn't be bothered to care about him since he was alone. He could take Chen Hao's life any time he wanted. He didn't discover that at this moment, Chen Hao's expression instantly paled and his sweat seeped out, drenching his face. After being acquainted with Su Yu for so many years, how could he not understand this buddy of his? Where were there over 10 students and where were there many others? All these were fake. This man must be someone from the All Races sect. He had almost harmed Su Yu. I'm too stupid and foolish. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Chen Hao's legs had grown soft, and he felt that his entire body was devoid of strength. But at this moment, he still remembered what Su Yu had said earlier. All of a sudden, he quickly called out, Teacher, I'm scared and cannot walk for long, can you support me? He was truly scared and there really was a problem with his legs. Both of them were trembling. The man turned his head and felt some impatience. If it wasn't for the sake of smoothly finding the other prey, he would have killed Chen Hao with a single slash. However, he was worried that by killing Chen Hao now, those that were hiding would be scared and start scattering. At that time, even if he chased them, he wouldn't be able to catch all of them. I'll bring you along. Although the man was impatient, he still turned and stretched out his hand to grab Chen Hao, preparing to support him as they walked. Hao Zi, you are really trash, you only know how to make trouble for teacher. Su Yu spoke as he clutched his blade tightly. His hand was covered in sweat, causing the blade's hilt to be somewhat slippery. And while he was speaking, Su Yu moved closer to the man. As the man stretched his hand toward Chen Hao, a hint of ruthlessness flashed in Su Yu's eyes. The time is now. Hao Zi, walk by yourself and don't trouble teacher. Bzz. The blade slashed through the air. At this moment, the man subconsciously turned his head while a thought appeared in his mind. Was he discovered? It was fine even if he was discovered, this brat was merely at the origin opening realm. Only, origin opening? No, it's not. The man instinctively wanted to evade, but he felt that his limbs were not listening to his command. There was basically no sensation above his neck anymore, and an instant later, he felt an incomparably intense pain. That slash isn't accurate. Beheading someone isn't done like this. A random thought flashed in the man's mind. It was too painful. When it came to beheading, the slash had to be swift, accurate, and ruthless. This fellow wasn't accurate enough, so his head wasn't beheaded at the first instant. It was so painful. Bang! A head fell to the ground. The guy's body was still standing and he was in the posture of turning his head. But his head had disappeared. His blade was still in his hand, and his other hand maintained the posture of reaching out toward Chen Hao. However, those 10+ students he was supposed to get as a freebie, were all gone. Silence descended in the atmosphere. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Bang! A corpse then fell to the ground. Who? The sound of panting akin to bellow puffing rang out. Su Yu's mouth was completely parched and his mind was blank. Much of the blood splashed on Chen Hao's face, and his mind was also blank. Killed. You killed that fellow in a single slash. You. Chen Hao's hands and legs weren't listening to his command. They immediately turned soft as he fell onto the ground. He then did his best and rapidly crawled towards Su Yu, ignoring the embarrassment. Earlier, he had been truly so frightened to the point where he was about to pee his pants. You, me, he's dead. Dead. Su Yu looked at the corpse before him and the pool of blood on the ground. His throat was hoarse and incomparably dry. Calm, I must be calm. This is an enemy, AB** starred from the All Races sect. It isn't that I have never seen them being beheaded before. Go, change to another location, and hide, if not, they might send others here. At this moment, Su Yu couldn't care less about handling the corpse. They had to go. Earlier when he slashed out, that action caused his body to feel incomparably sore and painful. This wasn't physical pain but a psychological one instead. Yes, we have to go, quickly go. After Chen Hao spoke, just when he wanted to continue crawling, he suddenly gritted his teeth and closed his eyes as his hand gingerly searched the man's corpse. He closed his eyes because he didn't dare to think about it or see it. A thought sprang up in his mind. He continued searching randomly and felt sticky substances on his hand. He didn't dare to think what that might be. In the next instant, his hand grabbed a small cloth bag. Without thinking about it or looking at it, he hurriedly stuffed it into his pocket. He then turned his head and tugged on Su Yu's calf, using Su Yu as a support to climb to his feet before beginning to run. Su Yu also grew a little less nervous and afraid due to his friend's actions. He couldn't help but scold in a low voice, "You are even thinking about such things at this moment? Don't you want your life? But, we can join the war academies. You killed him, you are too impressive." Su Yu couldn't be bothered to chat anymore. He dragged Chen Hao along as they swiftly left the canteen. He didn't dare to go too far as he was worried they might encounter another enemy. He then decided to hide in a dark and gloomy corner of a wall outside the canteen. Chapter 35. First Battle, 3. Ba thump, ba thump, ba thump. Su Yu's heart was still palpitating intensely, but he slowly eased out of it, letting out an exhale. This is all that is to it. I've even gotten used to being killed, so what other things can't I get used to? Su Yu let out a laugh in self-mockery. Haven't I gotten used to being killed so many times in my dreams? Since I can die, why should I be scared of hacking my enemies? Rumble. The killings outside were still ongoing. Although it seemed that a very long time had passed, it had probably been only less than a minute from the point the man entered the door, to him being killed, and to them eventually leaving. How z? Amen. Did you pee in your pants? And no. Don't spout gibberish. I didn't. Chen Hao's face was flushed. He didn't. However, he still took a quick look at his pants and then heaved a sigh of relief. He felt that he had lost his senses earlier and had no idea if he had peed in his pants. You're really amazing. Stop with the crap talk. Su Yu raised his head and looked around. He heard the sounds of the teachers shouting and saw that there seemed to be people searching in the distance. Our side is at a disadvantage. If that wasn't the case, the teachers would never have allowed these members of the all races sect to search for students in the academy. There were definitely students scattered around, and some of them had probably died. Su Yu looked at the blade in his hand. He then quickly wiped away the blood on it with some plants next to him. After that, he regained his composure and gritted his teeth, saying, How Z, are you afraid of death? I am. I am not. Go. Go and see if there are people around. If there's someone by themselves, go up to them and say that a few students are hiding and waiting for help. Go ask them for help. Huh. Su Yu gritted his teeth and said, the teachers can't handle all of the enemies. If other students are found, they'll be doomed. Go lure one or two of the bad guys over and I'll kill them. We can save a few students this way. Au. Chen Hao let out a soft gasp but quickly recalled the guy who had been killed by Su Yu with one slash earlier. It seemed that, it wasn't too scary either. Alright, I'll go. Are you really able to continue to kill them? I can. That's good then. Let's kill another one. The one from earlier belongs to you. The next one, can you lend me the next one? I want to go to a war academy. Sure. Chen Hao seemed to have forgotten his fear and broke into a grin. He was going to get into a war academy. His legs didn't feel weak anymore. At the next moment, Chen Hao bent low and walked over to the wall, probing his head out of the corner and looking around. He soon noticed many members of the All Races sect who were searching for students in the academy. The closest one was less than 100 meters away from him. Chen Hao still felt a little scared. However, he held in his fear and asked while trembling, Teacher, are you a teacher? The ears of the person not far away twitched slightly. He then instantly looked over in Chen Hao's direction. Are you a teacher? We are scared. Teacher, can you take us with you? Teacher. The All Races sect members' gaze flickered slightly. These students thought that they were their teachers. That was true. Both parties were humans, and there weren't any special differences between them, so how could a group of students be able to discern between them? Those who were experienced would naturally be able to tell the differences with one glance. However, what did these students, who hadn't been through any setbacks, know? Teacher, there are a few more of us with me. Can you take us with you? Just now someone wanted to come after us to kill us. There are a few more. The person who wasn't far away was tempted. He saw Chen Hao's horrified face, and this wasn't an act. He could tell that Chen Hao was really scared. At the next moment, the man dashed over rapidly. As for ambushes, he didn't think about that. If the academy's teachers had the time and energy to lay ambushes, they would have gone to the front lines to fight the enemies. There were fights ongoing everywhere in the academy at the moment. Hence, the teachers found it hard to even protect the students that were gathered together, let alone find time and manpower to go prepare ambushes for them. Chen Hao scrambled and darted behind a wall. The man's ears twitched. Even though he wasn't scared of ambushes, he subconsciously became a little more careful. After completing the origin opening realm, his ears and eyes had become sharper. Unless the opponent was someone a lot stronger than him, he'd be able to hear some sounds. There's another student inside. He heard a weak panting. It was a slightly nervous panting, and the breathing sound was very heavy. It didn't sound like what someone at the 1,000-pound realm should have. He mentioned there are a few students. Are there more people hiding in other places? The man thought about this and then glanced into the far distance where the others from his sect were searching. He became even more careful. This was his merit and he didn't want to be discovered by the others. At the next moment, the man moved behind the wall. As expected, there was another student here. His countenance was similarly pale. Teacher has come. Zhou Tao and the others are still waiting for us. Teacher, what's going on? Did the B***stars from the All Races sect attack us? Su Yu quickly said a few words, looking joyful. Then, as if he was scared, he tossed the blade in his hand away and ran toward the man. Teacher, I'll bring you to go look for them. He had even tossed away the blade. The man instantly let his guard down. Students might be able to threaten him with a blade, but when bare-handed, it'd be hard for them to kill those at the 1,000-pound realm no matter how they attacked. They had really taken him as their teacher. What foolish kids. Where are they? There was a hint of joy in the man's tone. Like the person before, he felt that merit had come knocking on his door, unable to conceal the bit of happiness he was feeling. Teacher, just come with me. Su Yu reached out his hand toward the man, as though wanting to grab his arm to lead him somewhere. The man frowned slightly, wanting to dodge. He then held the urge to hack Su Yu to death. But eventually, he chose not to dodge and allowed Su Yu to lead him for a little while. PSSHT. Just when he was pondering, that hand seemed to instantly turn into a sharp claw, which then cut through his flesh and pierced his heart. Meanwhile, Su Yu's other hand grabbed his hand that was wielding a weapon, and with a gotcha sound, the man's arm broke. The man wanted to roar, but at the next instant, his throat was clawed through. PSSSH. Large mouthfuls of blood gushed out of the man's mouth as he fell to the ground. He looked up at Su Yu while still seeming to be in a daze. This was Nanyuan, so how could there be a student in the 1,000-pound realm? That was impossible. After that, Su Yu rapidly searched the man's body. He then pulled Chen Hao, who no longer knew what fear was, and rapidly fled. This stupid fool Chen Hao really thought that they would be able to kill anyone. Why was he not running but acting so excited? In the instant they were escaping, Su Yu suddenly saw a stretch of golden light. He then lifted his head and looked over. At this moment, Su Yu was a little stunned. A familiar figure rose in midair, his body covered in golden light. Teacher Lu. Chen Hao saw it too and was also stunned. Lu Wenyan was emitting dazzling golden light in midair, and the surrounding origin chi was gushing over, gathering around him. Lu Wenyan's voice wasn't loud, but it spread very far. It isn't my wish to enter the soaring realm, instead I wish for the myriad races to be at peace. How cool. How fake. At this moment, these two thoughts flashed in Su Yu's mind. It was indeed very cool but also very fake. Teacher Lu clearly had a strong wish to achieve will manifestation and enter the soaring realm. However, he just said that it wasn't his wish to step into the soaring realm. What a liar. Chapter 36. Chapter 36, completely wiped out. Lu Wenyan rose into the air. Only those in the soaring realm could move around freely while floating in the air. Clearly, at this moment, Lu Wenyan had manifested his will successfully and had officially stepped into the soaring realm. His physical body hadn't changed, but the origin chi that gathered in the surroundings was for him to strengthen his physical body. Several tens of meters away, Scarless was also moving in the air. However, his countenance looked a little grim. He didn't manage to stop Lu Wenyan in time. Thank goodness he has just manifested his will. His physical body hasn't entered the soaring realm yet. Scarless secretly felt thankful that this wasn't the worst possible news. After all, Lu Wenyan was already old and his body had deteriorated. Hence, even though his will had entered the soaring realm, his physical body was still in the 1,000-pound realm. He, on the other hand, was already in the second level of the soaring realm, and there was no need for him to be afraid of Lu Wenyan. The all-races sect still had the advantage. They had more people in the 10,000-stone realm. Moreover, the Longwu guards who were in the 10,000-stone realm were all being held up by Hall Lord Chen. Right now, the other party only had more people in the 1,000-pound realm and could only depend on forming formations to somehow protect themselves. Kill! Scarless erupted with power, and a short blade appeared out of nowhere, emitting a glow. It then instantly shot out toward Lu Wenyan. You're competing in far-distance control with a civilization master. Lu Wenyan looked at him and smiled. B***stars are really not presentable. How can scums like you be able to understand how strong civilization masters are? Stop. The short blade that was shot out instantly stopped in the air. Return. Poochie. The short blade returned, cutting through the air and shooting back at Scarless. Scarless was just about to dodge it when the golden light above Lu Wenyan's head instantly exploded forth resplendently. Stop. This time around, what was stopped wasn't the short blade but Scarless. Scarless instantly felt that the space around him had been locked, freezing him on the spot. Dream on. Scarless let out an explosive howl and blood flowed out of his 7 apertures. After that, golden light burst out from his eyes, and all of his blood and vital energy erupted. With a rumble, the air exploded and Scarless managed to move a step to the side. Pfft. The short blade that was aimed at his head instantly pierced into his shoulder and blood sprayed out madly. However, he managed to escape this ordeal. That's impossible. Scarless looked horrified. That's impossible. You've just manifested your will. Even though civilization masters are slightly stronger than me, it's impossible for them to freeze me at a spot. Civilization masters took the path of will manifestation. Therefore, even those who had just manifested their will would be stronger than ordinary people in the soaring realm. Those who reached the soaring realm through the body path might not have a will that could compete with them. However, their physical bodies were strong, and their blood and vital energies were plentiful. It shouldn't be that easy for Lu Wenyan to restrain him. That's because you're too weak. Lu Wenyan laughed, his complexion looking slightly pale. His depletion earlier hadn't been small. However, at this moment, Lu Wenyan was laughing very loudly. All races sect, frogs at the bottom of the well. How dare you compete with the glory of the sun and the moon? Kill! With a light shout, the short blade embedded in Scarless' shoulder instantly started to tremble. As a result, Scarless' countenance changed and the moment the short blade shook itself free, he immediately fled from his original location. However, Lu Wenyan wasn't trying to deal with him. The short blade cut through the air at an extremely fast speed. The All-Races sect members in the 10,000 stone realm that were fighting the city guard's leader and the Wind Arrest Hall's Hall Lord couldn't react in time when the short blade passed through the head of one of them. After that, the other members were instantly thrown into great terror and wanted to flee when Lu Wenyan's will erupted once again. As a result, a few of them stopped in their movements. The 2 experts in the 9th level of the 10,000 stone realm also weren't willing to be outdone and attacked in unison with their weapons. They instantly killed 2 of the All-Races sex experts who were in the 10,000 stone realm. The short blade then once again pierced through another person. 4. In the blink of an eye, for experts at the 10,000 stone realm fell. Scarless. Over at the other side, a woman let out an enraged bellow. It was the woman who was fighting with City Lord Wu Wenhai. She screamed, "He has just manifested his will and there's a limit to his willpower. Hold him back. B****, hold him back. Do you want to be cut into pieces after going back?" If it wasn't because Scarless was afraid of Lu Wenyan and directly fled, how could Lu Wenyan have the chance to deal instant kills to their experts at the 10,000 stone realm? Their losses were too great. They had lost 4 peak-level 10,000 stone realm experts in one go. Over at the other side, Scarless' countenance changed. He then gritted his teeth and attacked the pale-faced Lu Wenyan once again. Yes, Lu Wenyan must be just putting on an act. He was an arrow at the end of its flight. Lu Wenyan had stopped both him and his weapon earlier, in addition to killing the few 10,000 stone realm experts. His willpower had probably been completely depleted. Hence, there was no need to fear Lu Wenyan, whose physical body was merely in the 1,000-pound realm. It was true that Lu Wenyan's complexion had turned pale. When he saw Scarless charging over to attack, his expression changed slightly. At the next moment, he rapidly retreated. Seeing this, Scarless was elated. He beckoned with his hand to summon his short blade back. His speed then quickened by 30%, and he cut through the air in the blink of an eye, killing his way toward Lu Wenyan. Lu Wenyan continued to back off. As a buzzing sound rang out, Scarless had gotten close to Lu Wenyan. He then stabbed the short blade toward Lu Wenyan's head. Die. Scarless pierced his short blade in, feeling that everything was going extremely smoothly without any obstacles. He was overjoyed. At this moment, someone behind him bellowed explosively, "You fool! Retreat!" The explosive shout woke Scarless up. Earlier on, it was as if he was dreaming. When he looked again, the Lu Wenyan who had been killed by him earlier was nowhere to be seen. It was an illusion. Using the will to interfere with reality. That's impossible, he has just manifested his will. How could he? This thought had just flashed in Scarless' mind, and a needle that was the thickness of a piece of chalk pierced through his violet palace star. A whistling sound akin to leaking air then rang out, and the origin chi in Scarless' body instantly flowed out. Right now, he wasn't even able to remain in the air. Damn it! Both the woman and the old man were extremely anxious. What a fool Scarless was. His will was too weak, and he died in the end from the interference by Lu Wenyan. Scarless' Shenkai was destroyed and his origin chi was leaking outside. It was over for him. Boom! The old man blasted Xia Bing back with a palm attack. Just when he wanted to leave the battlefield, the other 9 10,000 stone realm Longwu guards went all out to charge him. They were determined to hold him back even at the cost of their lives. Retreat! The old man didn't shout but looked toward the woman and communicated his intention with his gaze. It was over for Scarless. Footnote. The Violet Palace is something related to cultivation. It is a spot in a person's body where they store their energy. Chapter 37. Chapter 37, Completely Wiped Out, 2. They had lost one of their soaring realm experts, while their opponents had an additional civilization master who had succeeded in will manifestation. They might not necessarily lose, but, why did they have to fight to the bitter death? The worst thing that could happen was that they were going to fail their mission. Were they really going to fight it out to the very end? The two of them had just reached a consensus. Over at one side, Scarless had an additional short blade stabbed into his head. It was Scarless' own weapon. At this moment, Scarless' eyes were wide open, having died with an unresolved grievance. He was dead. Lu Wenyan had just succeeded in manifesting his will, but he could outmatch Scarless. The latter ended up being killed by a civilization master whose physical body was in the 1,000-pound realm. Bang! His corpse fell down. Lu Wenyan also landed on the ground, panting vigorously. He then looked toward the few soaring realm experts who were still locked in an intense battle and smiled, ignoring them. He then hollered, "Surround and kill them." The moment his words ended, his willpower manifested again. Not far away, the few 10,000 stone realm enemies who had just wanted to flee froze slightly. This momentary pause meant their death. Zhang Yun and Zheng Hua had managed to kill a few 10,000 stone realm enemies. After all, they were both in the 9th level of the 10,000 stone realm and also high officials in Nanyuan. Their strength wasn't weak. Hence, they cooperated really well, and with a few swishing sounds, their blade and sword pierced through the few enemies at the instant Lu Wenyan stopped them. The few 10,000 stone realm people's physical bodies were destroyed, and they died immediately as their bodies fell. At this moment, the all races sex members no longer had the morale to kill. If they were to fight to the very end, they might not necessarily lose. They still had close to 10,000 stone realm experts with them and 2 hall lords who managed to suppress the Longwu guards and the city lord. Their strength might be weakened, but they could still put up a fight. After all, Lu Wenyan's willpower was limited. However, if they were really unafraid of death, they wouldn't be the all races sect. In a smooth sailing battle, these people would grow more courageous as they fought. However, the moment a slip-up appeared and it seemed that they were going to lose, these people would just break apart by themselves. Retreat. Run. Hurry up and escape. Several hundreds of the all races sex members were horrified and tried to flee. They exposed their backs to the teachers and the city guards. In just this instant, several tens of all races sect members were killed on the spot. Originally, they had only suffered some losses. But in the blink of an eye, 1/3 of them died and the remaining 200+ people were scattered across the entire academy. Flee. The 2 hall lords didn't have the mood to battle anymore either. Their mission had failed. Since it failed, then they should run. There wasn't a need for them to lose their lives here. As for honor and battling to the very end, those were things that didn't exist. What was more important than life? Even though they knew that Lu Wenyan probably wasn't capable of fighting anymore, this place was Nanyuan City. Once they were entangled, they'd die sooner or later. The 2 hall lords were at the 3rd level and 4th level respectively and were stronger than Wu Wenhai and the others. Hence, they continued to retreat as they fought, trying to retreat out of the academy. Outside the academy, the scattered all races sect members also displayed their various abilities and fled extremely quickly. However, just at this moment, another group of people suddenly appeared outside the academy. There were old people, middle-aged people, and crippled people. Archers, shoot! A white-haired old man let out a low bellow, and at the next moment, over 10 old men pulled their bows and fired. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, over 10 all races sect members' heads exploded. Spear soldiers, form formation. Several tens of middle-aged and old people stopped the escapees with their spears as they attacked. Blade soldiers advance. Kill. Swishing sounds kept echoing and the fleeing all races sect members completely broke down. There were cries, shouts, and pleas for mercy. The old man in the lead twitched his lips in contempt. How dared they show such atrocity in the great Xia prefecture with such lousy skills? The Nanyuan civilian army has come to assist. Kill. Leave not a single one of them alive. Kill. The group of old people roared so loudly that their voices shook the heaven. Swish swish. Heads fell down one after another. In the blink of an eye, another group of several tens of people died on the spot. At the back, the city guards who were giving chase also arrived. Being sandwiched between the 2 groups, the all races sect members completely broke down. Fool! How can you retreat on the battlefield? You have enemies both in front and back. Who is going to die if not you guys? The old man said with an indifferent expression. This was but a small scene. Was a fight between several hundred people considered a war? Among the all races sect members, someone saw the old man, and he had some reluctance and disbelief on his face. He recognized this old man. The latter usually had trouble even going up the stairs and would need to take a few breaks when he went to buy groceries. To think that an old man like this was leading a group of old people who spent their time chatting in the park to surround and attack them? What are you looking at? Have you not seen killing before? The old man scolded and then roared, where are the axe soldiers? Attack! Bzz. Over 10 axes that were used to chop firewood shot out with extreme accuracy, instantly smashing over 10 heads. Old Zhang, are you blind? Your axe almost hit me. The old man scolded. Just now, one of the axes almost hit him. At the back, a hunchbacked old man looked helpless. My hands are a little shaky. I've gotten on in age. Didn't I fail to kill you? Stop with the crap talk. The old man bellowed once again, the guys at the back, did you guys not eat food today? Don't you know that we don't have any more strength? Kill them quickly. If they manage to charge out, all of us old people won't be able to chase them as we can no longer run. Kill. The eyes of the teachers, city guards, and wind arrest hall people all turned red. Embarrassing, it was too embarrassing. In the blink of an eye, close to 100 people amongst the fleeing group were killed by this group of old men who couldn't even run. If these younger men didn't kill a few of these traitors, they'd be too embarrassed to show their faces. The battle went on smoothly. The all races sect members didn't have any discipline at all, and their morale had broken down. With several hundred people surrounding to attack them, an instant later, almost everyone from the all races sect had died. The few surviving 10,000 Stone Realm members were still fighting intensely, trying to break through the encirclement. However, death would come for them sooner or later. At this moment, of all battles in the academy, the most intense one was undoubtedly the battle situation of the two soaring realm experts from the all races sect. They fought their way outside the academy and at this moment, they no longer had any thoughts of fighting to the death. They only fully focused on fleeing. Seeing that the chances of surrounding and killing the two soaring realm enemies weren't high, Xia Bing suddenly shouted explosively, "Let the guy go. Surround and kill that woman." Chapter 38. Chapter 38, Complete Wipeout, 3. Once the word sounded, the 10 Longwu guards didn't hesitate and gave up on the old man instantly. In a blink of an eye, they surrounded the woman. Hall Lord Chen. The woman let out a sharp scream, but Hall Lord Chen didn't even spare a glance. He soared at lightning speed, broke through the air, and fled. As long as he didn't die, why would he care about others? It was almost instantaneous. The old man slipped past by a few hundred meters and distanced himself from the battle. His eyes then revealed the joy of having survived the calamity. His troops fell in defeat like a landslide. They, who had the upper hand just moments before, incurred casualties the moment they chose to flee. This left the old man without any further intention of staying. As expected, the Great Xia Prefecture was tough as nails. He hadn't expected that even the group of retired soldiers would be able to erupt with such formidable power. Among these veterans, some were only in the middle of 1,000-pound realm, and their physical conditions were in decline. Yet, with that formation, they could kill a big group of people at the high levels of the 1,000-pound realm in an instant. This was where the invincibility of the human race lay. Strict compliance to instructions and a tight battle formation. The old man was incomparably glad that the woman took the bullet for him. That woman was a goner. He couldn't afford to think too much about it and focused on fleeing. He wasn't concerned about the consumption of his origin chi either as he walked on air. It was too easy to get blocked when running on land. However, being in the air also made him a huge target. Just as the old man was rejoicing, a young fellow suddenly appeared in front of him. My luck's not bad. I caught one. The young person laughed and the old man's expression changed. You. Great Xia Civilization Academy's research assistant, by phone. The merit points are in hand. A soft chuckle rang out. In the next moment, the old man's origin chi slackened abruptly, and his complexion was deathly pale. You dispersed my origin chi. That's right. What a simple thing. Bai Feng smiled. The Heavenly E-God sect mainly cultivates the E-God art. It is just a rubbish cultivation art with many flaws. It is something the Heavenly E-God race casually created to fool you all. Hence, it's too simple to cause those who cultivate it to suffer from origin chi backlash. I won't chat with you anymore, I still have things to do. You go ahead and die. Thank you for the merit points. Bai Feng laughed again. Without going any nearer, his will force burst out and struck the old man's 9 apertures. The latter's origin chi relaxed completely and backlashed. In a blink of an eye, the old man no longer had any breath of life. What a profit! Bai Feng laughed and with a wave of his hands, an item of the old man floated toward him, and he kept it in his pocket. Merit points without effort, I like it. The points are not considered little for the 4th level of the soaring realm too. As he said this, Bai Feng spotted some Longwu guards and the city lord, Wu Wenhai, from a distance approaching the battle on his side. Hurriedly, he asked, "Do you need help?" The team leader of Longwu guards shouted angrily, "Scram! Bai Feng, you kept hiding and didn't come out. Are you only coming out to harvest points now? I'm being wrongly accused." Bai Feng aired his grievances. I truly just got here. The people of Longwu guards have a bad temper. I'm a dignified researcher, so why would I do such a thing? As he spoke, he looked toward Lu Wenyan who followed in pursuit. Congratulations on your advancement, Martial Uncle Lu. Lu Wenyan spared a glance at him, but it wasn't a friendly look. I'm not your martial uncle, stop falsely identifying relatives. Uncle, before the teacher came, he instructed me. Scram. Lu Wenyan wasn't polite to him. His expression darkened as he wasn't fond of this fellow. Bai Feng sighed. Bai Feng didn't speak anymore and floated to the side. He didn't bother with the battle on the other side. With the Longwu guards and the city lord, if they couldn't surround and kill someone at the 3rd level of the soaring realm, then they truly deserved to die. Martial uncle. Bai Feng was just about to say something when Lu Wenyan raged, "Who's your martial uncle?" Ahem. Teacher Lu, Teacher Lu. Bai Feng coughed lightly and smiled. Teacher Lu, the academy received your request for assistance and immediately sent me over. My teacher was very worried about you. Lu Wenyan was a little annoyed. I don't need him to worry about me. I'm leading a good life. You were very late too. Do you want me to remember this as a favor? This is an official matter and not even a personal matter, what favor is there? Underscore. Right. You're right, elder. Bai Feng didn't mind it. He smiled. UNC. Teacher Lu, there isn't too much damage at the academy, right? Lu Wenyan frowned. Behind him, the elderly academy head rushed over while panting. There was some sorrow as he spoke quickly, 5 teachers died. Among the city guards and wind arrest hall, there are more than 10 deaths. As for the students, those in the classrooms are all right, but I'm afraid that more than 10 died outside. After doing some calculations, almost 30 people died in this battle. Lu Wenyan's expression didn't look good and Bai Feng stopped smiling. Awkwardly, he said, I really did come quickly, rushing here without stopping to rest. Academy head Wang, martial uncle, I thought I could arrive here on time. Humph. Lu Wenyan couldn't be bothered with him, but the academy head didn't blame Bai Feng and spoke up, it's already good enough. You held back the enemy at the soaring realm. That's the best outcome. Regarding the deaths, there was nothing to be done. Although the all-races sect wasn't weak, considering the number of people this time around, the death of 30 people against the complete wipeout of all races sect's members, this was still a huge win on the battlefield. How strong! At that moment, Su Yu and Chen Hao also neared the gate of the academy and witnessed the battle from before. Su Yu was stunned. That young man was so strong. Before this, the Longwu guards had surrounded Hall Lord Chen for a long time but couldn't take him down. Instead, they were nearly killed in action. In the end, Hall Lord Chen was killed easily by this fellow named Bai Feng, so how powerful was he? Is that someone from the Civilization Academy? Su Yu couldn't help but take a glance at Lu Wenyan who was ahead. Teacher didn't lie to me. This is just a random person from the Civilization Academy, but he is already so strong. He could even kill the experts at the 4th level of the Soaring Realm at will. In addition, at the moment where teachers will manifested, he instantly killed several people at the 10,000 stone realm level and an expert at the 2nd level of the Soaring Realm. That's too unbelievable. Is this Civilization Academy's power, the power of will? He was stunned, and by his side, Chen Hao was dazed as well. Ayu, aren't Soaring Realm experts strong? What does it feel, like they're similar to paper paste? It was like that when Lu Wenyan killed Scarless and when Bai Feng killed Hall Lord Chen. It was unfathomably quick. Almost as though only a blink of an eye has passed and 2 Soaring Realm experts were dead. I don't know. Su Yu was shocked as well. His father was at the 9th level of the 1,000-pound realm, and he always thought his father was pretty impressive. But now that he compared, his father was really weak. There were already more than 10 people at the 10,000 stone realm who died today. With father's level of ability, he still went to the all-skies battlefield. He truly isn't afraid of death. As he thought this, a shrill cry rang out as the woman's skull was split open with a single slash by Xia Bing. The all-races sect's assault had failed. It was a complete wipeout. The power of a few hundred elites, but none of them remained. They all died in Nanyuan. And today, Su Yu had killed 2 experts at a high level of the 1,000-pound realm and witnessed the strength of the Civilization Academy. At this moment, he inwardly thought that the power of the Civilization Academy was terrifying. Any random person they dispatched was at the Soaring Realm, and that person had killed another Soaring Realm expert as though the enemy was an ant. Regarding Teacher Lu, most probably Teacher Lu was really the weakest among them. As for Bai Feng's position, that was a so-called research assistant, he didn't know what it really meant. Chapter 39. Chapter 39, Reward, 1. Nanyuan City 1, and the post-battle cleanup began in the city. At the same time, outside of the Great Xia Prefecture city, just as Nanyuan City had completely wiped out the all-races sect. Broken Head Mountain. At the peak of a mountain, which looked like a head that was torn apart, Xia Longwu's blade landed on the last god race's skull. With a rumble, the body that stood 5 meters tall fell to the ground with a loud bang. Mercy! At that very moment, the mountain peak was surrounded by 5 corpses from the god race. There was still someone alive. However, it wasn't someone from the god race but someone from the human race. The sect leader of Heavenly E-God sect. This was someone whom the human race had been pursuing to kill and eliminate but hadn't found success. This fellow was very strong. And yet at that moment, the formidable sect leader was kneeling on the ground, shivering as he loudly begged, mercy. Xia Longwu raised his blade with a poker face. He looked at him a moment before speaking up indifferently, your master is dead and you should be buried next to them. No. Sir, I'm still useful. The sect leader knelt on the floor and trembled. I'm still useful. I can help Sir draw out even more people of the god race and convene the members of the Heavenly E-God sect. Moreover, I can help Sir infiltrate the interior of the all races sect and find the other stronghold of other sects. Sir, keep me, it'll be beneficial to the human race. It was useless to beg for mercy. He had to prove his worth. Xia Longwu was too strong. He had definitely advanced to the next step. Wrong, they were wrong from the start. The Heavenly God sect had suffered too great of a loss this time around. A total of 5 absolute experts had died in the human realm, more precisely in the Great Xia Prefecture. The Heavenly God sect was also done for. The attack on various cities of the Great Xia Prefecture today ended with casualties, and they had practically nothing left. The sect leader of the Heavenly God sect was also aware that they were done for. However, he didn't want to die. It wasn't easy for him to cultivate to such a level, and he also had some hope of entering that realm. He had even given up the opportunity to transform into part of the god race because he felt that he still had a chance. Xia Longwu assumed a commanding position as he looked down condescendingly. After a while, he laughed lightly. Is there more? Yes. Yes, the Heavenly God race still has a lot of hidden treasures within a secret realm. I have been to the Heavenly God race's territory and understand their situation. Hence, I can lead the way for experts of the human race, to attack and kill the experts of the god race. Sir, I can even go to the all-skies battlefield and contribute to the human race, as long as Sir doesn't kill me. The sect leader was trembling, and he hastily explained his function. He didn't want to die. Defeated. The 6 experts had surrounded Xia Longwu to kill him, but in the end, those 5 of the god race experts were eliminated quickly. Their deaths then alarmed this sect leader, and he was scared. Where is the secret realm? Xia Longwu's tone was cold when he asked this. Sir, as long as Sir spares me. Where is the secret realm? Xia Longwu attempted asking again with strong arrogance. He only wanted answers. Sir. PSH. With the fall of the blade, the head fell. Xia Longwu snorted, the 6 experts were completely wiped out. After that, Xia Longwu began to inspect the bodies. The corpses of the god race were a good commodity, and there were 5 god race corpses here. While cleaning up the battlefield, a silhouette suddenly appeared on the peak of a mountain not far away. Xia Longwu didn't spare a glance and continued his cleanup. Clap, clap, clap. Applause resounded. On the peak of the mountain, a middle-aged man applauded with a smile. Xia Longwu, it seems you don't need my help anymore. Xia Longwu ignored him. Are all geniuses this reckless? The middle-aged man let out a hearty laugh. But I guess so. At your age, reaching this level is beyond anyone's expectations. I was thinking that only if I acted today would these god race members be killed. Who knew that all of them would be slaughtered by you just like that? That's right. Just now, why didn't you leave Yunhao alive? Yunhao was the sect leader of the Heavenly God sect. He was an absolute expert. There's no need to keep scums alive. Once Xia Longwu was done, he turned his head in that direction and spoke coldly, Zhu Tiandao, I didn't invite you to the Great Xia Prefecture. What are you doing here? You, no matter what, I'm someone of your martial uncle's generation, yet you simply address me by name. Sigh. Zhu Tiandao sighed but quickly regained his smile. You didn't invite me, but that didn't mean that no one else did. Those few elderlies invited me before they left, is that not allowed? Xia Longwu didn't speak another word. It was apparent that the people within the prefecture were worried about him going against the enemies alone. Zhu Tiandao didn't continue the topic. He smiled. You still haven't reached the next step, right? I think you're close. You and I are similar. Do you feel like you are stuck at this step and cannot advance any further? This feeling is very uncomfortable, right? If you have stepped into it, then you would be able to kill these guys in a blink of an eye and wouldn't have to battle till now. I have an opportunity at my side which can allow us to advance further, or perhaps we can see the path forward. Xia Longwu replied dully. There's no need. I know my path and have long since seen it clearly. After some time, I'll head to the all-skies battlefield and kill a king. I will surely step into that realm. I'm not you. Zhu Tiandao's tone was flat, but he cursed in his heart. Who is he trying to provoke? You think that you can succeed? You won't be able to kill them. Now, the kings of myriad races are all crafty. The moment you appear in the all-skies battlefield, they will surely work together to kill you, and make you give up on this plan. Also, the difference between stepping and not stepping into the next step is great. I don't need your reminder. Xia Longwu couldn't be bothered with him. It wasn't like he had never seen an invincible expert. His grandfather, the great Xia King, was this realm's invincible expert. Zhu Tiandao was annoyed. You're really not interested in what I have to say. Chapter 40. Chapter 40, Reward, 2. Not interested. Xia Longwu turned and headed down the mountain. If it could be done, then you wouldn't be this weak. If your brother was still alive, he might have a chance of entering this realm. Compared to your brother, you are much worse. Zhu Tiandao was furious. Boy, you shouldn't say these words to me. Be careful about getting beaten to death when you come to the Great Ming Prefecture. Besides, my brother died when he was 9, how would you know if he's stronger than me? Because he was the first 9-year-old 1,000-pound realm genius of the human race. Zhu Tiangdo couldn't say anything to counter this. Yes, his brother was a genius, a 9-year-old 1,000-pound realm expert. But he was also a negative example for the entire human race. Bathed in god and demon blood and attained the 1,000-pound realm in a day at 9 years old. The son of the great Ming King's first wife. Now, the number of people who knew of his brother was 10 or 100 times more than those who knew of him. But it always felt like Xia Longwu was taunting him when he said such stuff. However, Xia Longwu really wasn't. He spoke as he walked, at least he had the courage, the guts to try. If you had gone to all skies battlefield hundreds of years ago and fought against the kings of the myriad races, you might have become invincible. How would you get stuck at this step? I won't learn from you, you're not worthy of my learning. Zhu Tiandao was speechless. He only replied after a moment, you made it sound simple, Xia Longwu. But I'd like to see if you can be invincible before the myriad races. That is simply courting death. You have a promising chance of stepping into the invincible realm, so why are you in a rush to throw your life away? If you die, who can the great Xia prefecture rely on for support? Your grandfather. Nobody even knows where your grandfather is right now. Xia Longwu's footsteps were a little sluggish as he quickly replied, that doesn't matter. My second uncle is still alive. We can have him return. Him. He's even weaker than me. By that time, your great Xia prefecture won't be one of the 3 major prefectures in the human realm anymore. That's fine. In any case, it won't be your great Ming prefecture's turn to replace us. Zhu Tiandao realized that there was no way of communicating with Xia Longwu and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Seeing as the latter was about to leave, he quickly added, the Star Universe Mansion will open in 3 years. The Great Ming Prefecture will have a quota of 10, while you have 20. How about we join forces when the time comes? You guys are too weak, we won't join forces with you. Xia Longwu. Zhu Tiandao was annoyed. I traveled tens of thousands of miles to assist you, and this is how you treat your guest from afar. How is my Great Ming Prefecture weak? After 3 years, my Great Ming Prefecture will send our strongest generation to Star Universe Mansion. If you are not willing to join forces, then according to the rules, I will assist but you'll have to share with me a corpse from the god race. Xia Longwu's expression changed for a moment. Otherwise, join forces. Xia Longwu turned around and stared at him for a moment. He couldn't help but scold, shameless. How is this shameless? Zhu Tiandao was frustrated. It isn't like we are asking you to bleed by joining forces with us. Even though your great Xia prefecture is strong, we aren't weak either. Humph. Xia Longwu humphed and then replied flatly after a while, fine. But if the people of your great Ming prefecture are too weak, then I'd rather give you a corpse from the god race. Weaklings are not qualified to join forces with my great Xia prefecture. After that, Xia Longwu soared into the air. Zhu Tiandao watched him leave and cursed for a while, but it quickly turned into a smile. This rascal, Sai, is really strong. He sighed. It's no wonder that he would dare to take the risk and meet the god race head-on in the great Xia prefecture. He even defeated 5 experts from the god race in one battle. Even if the heavenly god race is strong, they've bled this time around. Forget about the 5 dead experts, even the heavenly god sect was uprooted. No one was aware of the fighting at the great Xia prefecture city. Moreover, not many knew of the downfall of the 5 god races and the heavenly god sect leader. That information was too classified, and it wasn't something they could find out. At this moment, in Nanyan, experts like the city lord and Lu Wenyan were in discussion about the suppression of all races sect members outside of the city. However, these things had nothing to do with Su Yu. Su Yu and Chen Hao were hiding in the corner to check their harvest. Ayu, have we struck it rich? Chen Hao looked at the reward in front of him and felt a little agitated. Ayu, why do you think these people carry so many things with them when they go out? The all races sect can't trust anyone and migrates frequently. Since they also don't have a fixed residence, of course they have to carry the good stuff with them. This is not surprising at all. About this, so you didn't think that it was strange. At times, beheading the high-level people from the all-sect races wouldn't result in many rewards. That was because those people had a fixed place of residence and were very deep in their concealment. However, for the low levels without a fixed residence, they would live here today and move to another place tomorrow. Killing them often meant that you could seize all their belongings. 2 books on cultivation arts, 2 books on martial skills, and 5 drops of blood essence. Although it is unclear what kind of blood essence it is, I will know after asking around. Chen Hao continued counting and grinned. And a bottle of body refinement pills. It's a pity that there are only 5 pills left. This is very useful for cultivation at the 1,000-pound realm. 16 Onping gold coins. 1 gold coin is worth 10,000 Onping coins. This is my first time getting gold coins. My dad, on the other hand, has some, but it's a pity that he doesn't want to give them to me. Gold coins were worth a considerable amount. Sometimes, the people of the all races sect didn't dare to deposit Onping coins, but it was inconvenient to carry them around. Hence, they would exchange it for gold coins instead to carry them around. Regarding debit cards, these fellows didn't even dare to use them. They were worried that it'd be frozen when their identities were exposed. Hence, from killing these 2 sect members, Su Yu and Chen Hao had received quite a few gold coins. 16 pieces, 160,000. For the 2,000-pound realm experts, 160,000 wasn't a lot, but it wasn't little either. After all, they needed to cultivate as well. Chapter 41, Reward, 3. Chapter 41, Reward, 3. Ayu, do you want to hand it over? Chen Hao was a little reluctant, but he still said, after killing these people, we have to hand over the spoils of war together. This was the rule. After all, there was more than one person participating in the battle. Hand it over. Su Yu pondered and said, let me think about it again. If we hand it over, it means that we killed 2 members of the all races sect. However, we are so weak, so how did we kill them? Hao Zi, don't tell anyone that I killed them. You know what I mean. Amen. Chen Hao nodded and then whispered, Ayu, how did you suddenly become so powerful? You're in the 1,000-pound realm. I heard from the teacher that the people attacking this time around are all experts above the 7th level of the 1,000-pound realm. How did you manage to break through their defenses and kill them? Don't ask. I won't tell you even if you ask. Su Yu looked at the two small black badges as he spoke. These were the symbols of the All Races sect. In order not to expose their identities, the All Races sect wouldn't carry these things under normal circumstances. However, this time around, it was a large-scale operation. After this, they would have to disperse and evacuate. In order to gather and identify themselves, almost all the members of the church who came this time had brought this item with them to prove their identities. Hence, they had also seized 2 badges this time. This could also represent their battle results. Su Yu pondered and tossed one of the badges to Chen Hao. He then took out a secret manual, a martial skill manual, 2 drops of essence blood, and 6 gold coins. If you want to join a war academy, you have to hand these things over to prove that you killed a member of the All Races sect. Chen Hao was a little agitated, but he soon said dejectedly, "Why don't we forget about it? Otherwise, it'll be hard to say. You killed a guy at the 7th level of the 1,000-pound realm. Wouldn't we have to investigate thoroughly?" He wanted to join a war academy, but if he took this item and handed it over, it would expose Su Yu's situation. Su Yu smiled and said, "It's fine. It's not like we can't kill someone at the 1,000-pound realm. Of course, we can't report the second one. That fellow's heart was crushed by me, and I killed him with my bare hands. The first one isn't a big problem. Since I killed him with my blade, it won't be a problem even if I kill him with greater strength. Just go and report it. Say that the other party was careless and you suddenly killed him with a slash. Ayu, will this work?" Chen Hao was a little apprehensive. "Why don't you go and talk to him? Didn't you say that you want to join a war academy too?" "Me? I don't need it." Su Yu calmly replied, "I can kill people at the 1,000-pound realm. Do you think it's very difficult for me to join a war academy? I forgot to mention that I broke through to the 4th level of the Origin Opening Realm a few days ago. I feel that I'll reach the 5th level soon." Chen Hao felt his heart being pricked again. Was this for real? So fast. However, Ayu had killed someone at the 1,000-pound realm. He had no choice but to believe it. Chen Hao looked at him somewhat plaintively. "Were all geniuses this abnormal? I've never seen you so perverted before." Su Yu ignored him and packed his other belongings. He then stuffed them into his chest and said in a soft voice, "The battle records can be yours, but, you have to let me use the merit points you get as a reward. Also, you have more than 10,000 yuan in your secret stash, so you have to give it all to me as well. Take it that you bought it from me, do you hear me?" Chen Hao had a pitiful look on his face. Ayu was really stingy. He had gained so much this time, but he was still thinking about his secret stash. Was it easy for him? "I saved for so many years, yet you want to take it all away. What are you looking at? If you hand these things over, you will also be rewarded. But the academy rewards merit points." Chen Hao looked aggrieved. Was he taken for a fool? "You just said that I'll give you all my merit points. In other words, I'm bankrupt. At the very least, you have a chance of entering a war academy, right? It's just 10,000 yuan. Which would you choose?" Chen Hao was a little confused, but he nodded. That seemed to be the case. It seemed very worth it to be able to join a war academy with just over 10,000 yuan. "Then it's decided. You can say that I cooperated with you when you reported it, but you were the one who delivered the blow. In that case, if they were to check the wound, that slash wouldn't have been made by someone with great strength. What should I say?" Chen Hao hurriedly asked. It wasn't that he really didn't understand. He would be seen through by experts. "It's fine. I took a look earlier. The corpses have all been collected and are preparing to be burned. You can tell them after they are burnt. Dead men tell no tales. What are you afraid of? But. Or else don't go then. In any case, it's not like I want to join a war academy nor do I need this battle record. The moment Su Yu said this, Chen Hao felt conflicted. Alright, then I'll go say it. Don't worry, I definitely won't betray you. If they really want to investigate, just investigate me. So what if I'm stronger? Chen Hao gritted his teeth. He still wanted to join a war academy. This was the best opportunity. Su Yu ignored him. The possibility of the academy verifying this wasn't high. Naturally, there would be some doubts, but since the corpses had been burned, no one would falsely claim the battle records. Since Chen Hao had stood out to claim them, the academy would pay more attention to him in the future. A 1,000-pound realm expert wasn't at the 10,000-stone realm. It wasn't impossible for someone at the origin opening realm to kill the other party by coincidence. 10 gold coins, 3 drops of blood essence, 5 body refining pills, 1 secret manual, 1 martial skill manual. Su Yu thought about his gains today and was in a good mood. He had paid with a drop of Ironwing Bird's blood essence, and his harvest was more than 10 times greater. Very good. He finally didn't have to worry about spending all of his father's savings or not having any food to eat next. He would go back and check what kind of blood essence these few drops were. Perhaps, he might even be able to open the second page of the booklet. Chapter 42, Obtaining Merit, 1. Chapter 42, Obtaining Merit, 1. When Su Yu and Chen Hao were splitting the spoils. In the teacher's office. Bai Feng seemed to be a little bored. He sat on a small chair in the teacher's office and watched as the few of them argued non-stop. When they were almost done, he continued, "Martial uncle, are we still going to lead the preparatory students of Nanyuan Academy?" Lead? Do they not need funds to live in Great Xia? Lu Wenyan rebutted with a single sentence. Bai Feng had a helpless look on his face. "Martial uncle, do you have any plans to temper your body? Do you have any powerful essence blood or origin chi pills in Nanyuan that you can use?" As soon as he said this, the old academy head instantly froze. He then laughed dryly and said, "That researcher Bai, the Great Xia Civilization Academy. There's no need to beg them." Lu Wenyan said indifferently, "I'll just slowly temper. In any case, there's no rush since I've manifested my will." Bai Feng hurriedly said, "Martial uncle, you can't say that. Without the help of powerful essence blood to temper your body might not be able to reach the level of ordinary soaring realm cultivators. It will still have a huge impact on your future. The stronger the blood essence, the greater the help it will be to you. If you have the blood essence of soaring realm gods and devils to refine and forge your foundation, with your strong will, you will have a chance to instantly forge a level 3 soaring realm foundation." The cultivation of the will didn't focus on the body in the early stages. However, they had to pay attention to it when it came to the soaring realm. This was the start of the physical body foundation establishment realm. The stronger the gods and devils' blood used, the stronger the foundation for forging. Lu Wenyan pretended not to hear him. The blood of gods and devils. Gods and devils of the soaring realm. Where was he supposed to look? It was very difficult to kill a god or devil in the All-Skies battlefield. Moreover, the gods and devils in the All-Skies battlefield were mostly at the soaring realm. It wasn't suitable for them to be too strong or weak. It was best if they were at the soaring realm. Lu Wenyan had never thought of using the blood of gods and devils to build his foundation. Even in civilization academies, there weren't many who could use the blood of gods and devils to build their foundation. This was too rare. Seeing that Lu Wenyan was ignoring him, Bai Feng thought for a moment and said, "Teacher seems to still have a few drops of the soaring realm Sky Tiger's blood essence. The Sky Tiger is also very strong and has a strong body. Why don't Martial Uncle tell teacher?" Scram! Lu Wenyan had just finished scolding when the old academy head spoke with an agitated expression, "Sky Tiger? The blood essence of a Sky Tiger that is ranked 32nd among all races? Amen. Old Lu. The academy head spoke agitatedly, "Don't be so stubborn and want to save face. Rely on yourself and on our Nanyuan. Where can we get the blood essence of the races that are ranked in the top 100 on the all races list? Even if the Sky Tiger isn't comparable to gods and devils, the difference isn't great either. It can directly reach the second or even third level of the physical body foundation establishment realm and soar into the air. You're already so old. Could it be that you want to waste a few more years in the early stages of the soaring realm? Without a powerful blood essence foundation establishment, Lu Wenyan would need at least 5 or 10 years to cultivate to the third level of soaring realm. He was already in his 70s. How much time did he have to waste? At the side, the Longwu Guard's captain, Xia Bing, opened his mouth slightly, wanting to say something but hesitated. After some consideration, he said in a muffled voice, "Teacher Lu, the Sky Tiger's blood essence is indeed very strong. I think it's better to go to the Great Xia Civilization Academy and ask for a few drops of it. Right now, the All Races sect has entered the Great Xia Prefecture, and the strength of Nanyuan is limited. We still need Teacher Lu to take care of us." The Sky Tiger's blood essence was at the Foundation Establishment realm. If one's luck was bad, they would reach the second level of the soaring realm. If they were lucky, they would reach the third level. Moreover, their foundation was solid. It might only take them a few years to break through to the mid-stage. A few years later, Nanyuan would have an expert at the mid-stage of the soaring realm, and it wouldn't be as difficult to defend as it was now. Lu Wenyan ignored them and looked at Bai Feng with a frown. "You don't have to worry about these things. Bai Feng, how many people are the Great Xia Civilization Academy planning to recruit in Nanyuan this time around?" "Around 10. Bai Feng smiled. "Martial uncle, how many are you planning to add?" Lu Wenyan didn't reply and continued, "How many people are you recruiting in total?" "About 2,000 people, but 500 of them are reserved for the other prefectures. The remaining ones are for the Great Xia Prefecture. The Great Xia Prefecture recruits about 1,500 people in total. According to the ratio, the prefecture cities recruit about 1,000 people every year, and the remaining 28 cities. Among the 28 cities, Nanyuan was the smallest and weakest, so they had the fewest quotas. About 10. This was the number of students the Great Xia Civilization Academy recruited in Nanyuan every year. I want to add a few more this year." Lu Wenyan spoke, "At least 2 more. Martial uncle, I can't make the decision. There are at least 2 slots for assistant researchers. Since you managed to kill a 4th-level soaring realm expert, you can use the slots to exchange for it." "Martial uncle, aren't you being unreasonable? I was the one who killed him. If I didn't come, you guys wouldn't have been able to kill him." "Right, I am unreasonable." Lu Wenyan was prepared to be unreasonable. Nanyuan has lost over 10 students this time around. Right now, the students are in low spirits. This is Nanyuan's responsibility and also the Great Xia Prefecture's responsibility. The Great Xia Prefecture didn't come to our aid in time. This is something they shouldn't have done. Increase the quota and get the students get over from their low spirits as soon as possible. Shouldn't that be the case? Bai Feng opened his mouth, feeling a little helpless. Even though these 2 spots weren't very useful to him, if he really did them a favor, it would be a huge favor. "Forget it." Bai Feng said helplessly, "All right, Martial uncle. In that case, Nanyuan will have 2 more slots. However, the prerequisite is that you have to meet the basic requirements. Otherwise, you won't be able to join. Even if you join, you will be kicked out." Lu Wenyan finally revealed a smile. "Of course. Of these 2 basic spots, one is for Su Yu and the other is for Lu Yu." Everyone looked at him. How cunning. These 2 were almost guaranteed. If you gave them the spots, wouldn't it be 90% guaranteed? Chapter 43, Obtaining Merit, 2. Chapter 43, Obtaining Merit, 2. Their acceptance would not occupy the quota of Nanyuan Academy. This way, there would be 2 more people in Nanyuan Academy this year. Bai Feng obviously knew about this as well. The academy also had a list of those people. When he heard this, he did not know whether to laugh or cry. It's up to you. That's good too. This way, it'll be my credit if these 2 can enter the academy and achieve results. This was quite suitable. There was no need to embarrass himself. Otherwise, if his results were really bad and he was kicked out of the academy later, he would lose face. Lu Wenyan smiled and said, "That's good. Also, since these 2 people used your spot to enter, in order to prevent them from not being able to enter, go and guide them in case something goes wrong. If they don't pass the assessment, I won't let you off." Martial uncle, this. Bai Feng looked depressed. I'm a researcher. They're students from an intermediate academy. The difference was huge. Do they need my advice? Assistant researcher. Lu Wenyan reminded. Assistant first, researcher second. Understand? Alright. Since Martial uncle said it, there is no problem, I'll get them to look for me later. I'll stay here for 2 to 3 days before leaving. It so happens that I'm a little tired from traveling. Lu Wenyan was happy now. He waved his hand impatiently and sent Bai Feng away. You're burning bridges. Bai Feng muttered and left helplessly. After he left, the old headmaster couldn't help but laugh. Old Lu, you're really something. Now, the academy will have 2 more talents. At the side, Xia Bing looked a little straightforward and said in a muffled voice, "It's because of senior researcher Hong." What did you say? Lu Wenyan's gaze was unfriendly, and Xia Bing instantly shut up. That was the truth. No one was allowed to say it. If not for that, Bai Feng would not have given him face. Even if he reached the materialization stage, Bai Feng would not care. Even though he was thinking about it, Xia Bing did not continue. He changed the topic and said, someone just reported that 2 members of all races sect were killed near the canteen. One died under the real saber of the academy, and the other had his heart shattered by a claw technique. At that time, there were no instructors, city guards, or people from the wind arrest hall nearby. Lu Wenyan looked at him and frowned. It's fine if you don't. Do you need an identity to kill the members of the all races sects? Don't misunderstand, Mentor Lu. I'm just worried that someone is lurking in the academy. As he spoke, he said, but he shouldn't be too strong. There's an element of sneak attack, and the probability of him being in the 1,000-pound realm is higher. Did anyone claim credit? Not at the moment. It's still being counted. The old headmaster thought for a moment and said, it's not easy to find a 1,000-pound realm cultivator. Even if there are 1,000-pound realm cultivators hiding, it's not a big deal. The academy is not so weak that they can't even deal with a 1,000-pound realm cultivator. Old Lu has broken through, so the 10,000 stone realm is actually nothing. We don't have to investigate for the time being, and we don't have to pay too much attention. Maybe a family head came in and killed the other party. It's hard to say. The mayor did not pay much attention to it. Perhaps a family head was worried that something would happen to the child and ran over to kill him. Now that the matter was over, trespassing into the academy was not something to be proud of after all. It was not strange for him to run away secretly. That's true. Xia Bing nodded and said with a smile, let's take a look at the back and see if anyone has received the credit. I'm worried that the students will receive the credit. It's very troublesome to pretend to receive the credit. After all, it's the assessment period of the university. Once it's discovered, the students will be greatly affected. Which student would be so stupid as to claim credit? The old mayor did not think much of it. If any family's parents killed someone and let their child take the credit, it would involve the quota of the War Academy. If they found out, they would be responsible. Lu Wenyan said impatiently, don't make it sound so fixed. It's not impossible to kill one if you're lucky. Of course, if someone really comes to report it, just investigate. There's no need to make a fuss. The few of them did not say anything else. The old headmaster felt that no student would go and claim the credit. In fact, a certain student was wandering around at this moment, waiting for the corpse to be burned before going to claim the credit. When things were settled, it was night. This time, Suyu did not return home with Lu Wenyan. Lu Wenyan was very busy now, so Suyu did not disturb him. After the alert was lifted, Suyu returned home. The house was dusty after a few days of absence. It was only when they returned home that Suyu heaved a long sigh. Today, he had killed 2 people. He didn't show any abnormalities in front of Chen Hao, but in fact, his psychological fluctuations were still very strong. He wasn't a warrior, but an ordinary student from a medium-grade academy. How could he not be affected by his first kill? I was lucky. If I wasn't, I would be killed today. Especially the first guy. At that time, even Suyu almost believed that his teacher had come to look for him. If he really believed it, he and Chen Hao would be dead now. Even though I can unleash the attack power of the 7th level of the 1,000-pound realm, the difference between me and the 1,000-pound realm is still too great. As long as the other party reacts, I'll be dead. He's still not strong enough. Only the strong can decide the outcome of a battle. If Lu Ji doesn't break through, then Nanyuan Academy will be finished this time. No, Bai Feng has also arrived. However, all of this means that only the strong can decide the direction of the war. Today, he had many thoughts. The ones who decided the direction of the battle were actually the experts in the soaring realm. Once the city lord, Wu Wenhai, and the Longwu Guard soldiers were killed, there would be no more fighting in Nanyuan. For example, after one of the all-races sex members was killed, they were instantly defeated. One person decided the direction of the entire battle, causing the all-races sect to be completely wiped out. Chapter 44, Obtaining Merit, 3. Chapter 44, Obtaining Merit, 3. So. Father is indeed cannon fodder on the battlefield. Suyu was a little worried. It was only a small battle in Nanyuan, but his father faced a battle with all skies battlefield. This wasn't a small fight here. Even if they are in the soaring realm, it's actually nothing much over there. Just Nanyuan alone has 7 soaring realm experts fighting today, let alone the all skies battlefield. I'm afraid that in any random battle, there might be tens or even hundreds of soaring realm experts participating. My previous thoughts were too simple. After I join a war academy, even if I have the chance to intern, I'm afraid I won't be able to do anything. What can a 1,000-pound or a 10,000-stone do? At the very least, one has to be in the air to be mobile. In the all-skies battlefield, they can be considered a core force. Suyu thought about many things. In summary, he still needed strength. Moreover, the faster and stronger he was, the better. I have to continue using blood essence to activate my cultivation. At this moment, he had a total of 5 drops of blood essence in his hands. 3 of them were obtained from the spoils of war, and 2 of them were exchanged for before the war. 260,000 Anping coins, 10 gold coins, 5 drops of blood essence, 5 body refining pills, 7 merit points, 1 secret manual, 1 martial skill manual. This was all that Suyu had. Among them, he didn't need the body refining pills for now. They were only used by those in the 1,000-pound realm, and their value wasn't low. The Xia Trading Company sold one for about 30,000 yuan. I'll use the 2 drops of Ironwing Bird Race's blood essence to cultivate. Later, I'll go in exchange for a few more drops. No, I'll go buy a few more drops. I can't use all my merit points, so I'll use them to protect myself. He would leave a few drops for self-defense just in case. After all, he didn't know if the all-races sect had people lurking around. Continue cultivating. Suyu deeply felt that his strength was weak and couldn't even be considered cannon fodder. Hence, he no longer hesitated. During these few days at Lu Wenyan's place, he didn't dare to use his blood essence to cultivate. Now that he was back, he didn't have any qualms. After swallowing a drop of blood essence, just like before, the origin chi in the surroundings quickly gathered. The 9 apertures emitted a faint glow. The aperture in his right ear vibrated and swelled, showing signs of opening. Suyu had spent less than half of the 1-hour cultivation time previously. This time, the duration was longer. The origin gathering art was used by the ironwing birds to build their foundation. The speed at which they absorbed origin chi wasn't considered fast. It was precisely because of this that it was suitable for Suyu, who was at this level. About 40 minutes later, Suyu stopped cultivating. The right ear aperture didn't open this time around, but Suyu had a feeling that if he opened it again, he would have a chance to open the right ear aperture and reach the 5th level of the origin opening realm. However, his body was a little overloaded. It was probably no longer suitable for him to cultivate today. I'll come back tomorrow and continue to consume blood essence. By tomorrow, I'll have a chance to reach the 5th level of origin opening. Suyu was overjoyed. 5th level of origin opening realm. The origin opening realm wasn't obvious, and it was difficult for ordinary people to detect it. Nanyuan Academy had students at the 4th level of the origin opening realm, but it was unclear if there were students at the 5th level of the origin opening realm. There were some fellows who liked to hide and shock the world with a single brilliant feat during the examination. In any case, at this stage, there seemed to be no one at the 5th level of the origin opening realm in Nanyuan Academy. After completing his cultivation, Suyu finally had the time to study the 3 drops of essence blood and cultivation art manuals he had obtained. Just as Suyu was studying this, Nanyuan Academy, the sky was already dark. In the teacher's office, Chen Hao had been brought here. This fellow didn't leave and kept waiting. After the corpse was burned, he dashed immediately to report his merit. Hence, he was sent to the teacher's office. The old academy head and Lu Wenyan personally participated in the interrogation. The old resident's long nose was crooked from anger. He then asked solemnly, "You killed him?" "Amen. Do you know that any fraud will be severely punished?" "I know." Chen Hao nodded. He knew this, but Au's kills were akin to his kills. It wasn't considered fraud, so he didn't feel any pressure. Moreover, Au had taken his private savings. He exchanged them for this merit. Au didn't want this merit, but it would be a pity to waste it. He had spent over 10 years' worth of secret savings to exchange for it. Wasn't this considered his merit? Hence, at this moment, Chen Hao was very magnanimous. "I am not conducting fraud. I even helped Au attract the enemy's attention. I was also contributed by attracting the attention of 2 people. I killed a person on average, there is no qualms about that." The old academy head looked at Lu Wenyan. Lu Wenyan tugged at his beard so hard that it almost fell off. It felt like he wasn't lying. The old academy head understood and was a little stunned. He couldn't tell. Was Chen Hao a scheming fellow? It didn't look like it. How could a 10-year-old child be so shrewd? "Tell me, how did you kill him?" "Au and I were hiding in the canteen when someone suddenly pretended to be a teacher and came in. Au then saw through it and lied to him that there were still people hiding. That fellow foolishly followed Au and I hacked him to death from behind." Chen Hao made it sound simple because Suyu wanted him to make it sound simpler. If it was too complicated, he was afraid that this fellow wouldn't be able to remember it and make a mistake. "Suyu?" Lu Wenyan asked. "Amen." "Together?" "Amen." "Why did you bring a blade with you?" "The combat teacher said that you had long since borrowed a real saber." Au said that he broke through to the 4th level of the origin opening realm, but I didn't believe him, so I followed him to the combat room for actual combat. He said that he wanted to keep a low profile, so he came out to look for a place for actual combat. 4th level of the Origin Opening Realm. The old academy head was surprised. He's at the 4th level of the Origin Opening Realm. He's working very hard in his cultivation now. It probably has something to do with Uncle Su going to the All-Skies battlefield. The old academy head nodded. He understood a little and wasn't surprised. It was normal for one to have a breakthrough if they were lucky. Su Yu was intelligent. He probably didn't put in much effort to cultivate in the past, so it wouldn't be considered slow for him to reach the 3rd level. Chapter 45, Obtaining Merit, 4. Chapter 45, Obtaining Merit, 4. Lu Wenyan thought for a moment and asked, "How did you cut him down at that time?" "Just like that." Chen Hao gestured. He had seen how Su Yu cut him down. As a witness, he naturally knew the situation. Xia Bing, who had been silent all this while, nodded slightly when he saw this. As a Longwu guards at Soaring Realm, he had a judgment that the saber technique that killed that person was similar. Lu continued, "Then someone else was killed outside the cafeteria." "Did you do that?" "What?" Chen Hao pretended not to understand. He couldn't admit this. Au said that killing that person was a coincidence. If he killed 2, he would be captured for research. Lu Wenyan smiled. "You only killed 1. You killed that guy with 1 blow. Do you know how strong he is?" "I don't know. I didn't have time to ask when I delivered the blow." The old academy head almost laughed in anger. "Then why did you come to claim your credit now? Why didn't you come before?" he asked impatiently. "I was frightened." Chen Hao had an honest look on his face as he replied honestly, "It's my first time killing someone, so I'm a little afraid. I almost peed my pants and I haven't been able to recover." "But I didn't pee my pants, really." The old academy head ignored him and glanced at him. He saw some faint bloodstains on his body and frowned slightly. Had the boy really killed him? "Where's Su Yu?" "Heading home. Au said that I just have to give him some merit points. The merit points for killing people are mine, but he has also gained intelligence, so I have to give him some merit points." "This kid." Lu Wenyan laughed. "So you get the credit, he gets the merit points, you get extra points for going to the War Academy, and he gets the benefits?" Lu Wenyan looked at the old governor and then at Xia Bing. The old governor did not know what to say. Xia Bing considered for a moment and said, "Have you practiced claw techniques?" "No." "How do you feel when you delivered the blow?" "I didn't feel anything. I was too scared at that time. I was a little stuck. My neck was really hard." "Where's the knife?" "It was just returned to the combat office." "Is your father here?" "Not yet. I just called communications. My dad says he's working overtime at the station. The deputy director of traffic control office is my dad." Xia Bing said in a deep voice, "Men, go and investigate his father's whereabouts." "Yes." The Longwu guards outside the door responded. After about 3 to 4 minutes, someone reported, "Chen Qinghe has been at the traffic control office and hasn't left. When the battle happened, he was commanding at the traffic control office to maintain traffic order in Nanyuan." "Got it." Xia Bing glanced at Chen Hao, who smiled foolishly. Xia Bing considered for a moment, then looked at the old academy head and said, "Let's sign the document jointly signed by the academy and the Longwu guards. It's confirmed that he was the one who killed them. He killed the All Races Sect's 1,000-pound level 7 during the war. Students will get 30 points and 3 merit points." After saying that, he looked at Chen Hao and said, "In addition, someone died near the canteen. If he was also killed by you guys, you'll get 60 points and 6 merit points. If you're not an idiot, you'll definitely be able to enter the War Academy." Ah, is there another one? Chen Hao said regretfully, can that be counted as mine? What if no one claims the kill? Why don't I give up on the merit points and add 60 points? Xia Bing was speechless. The old academy head and Lu Wenyan were also speechless. What was he thinking? The one in the cafeteria was killed by Chen Hao and the others. What about the one outside the cafeteria? Lu Wenyan shook his head slightly. Forget it, it didn't matter. Anyway, it wasn't a big deal. However, it was a little unexpected that Chen Hao had killed a member of the all-races sect who was at the 7th level of the 1,000-pound realm. Let's ask Suyu tomorrow. Lu Wenyan thought about it and nodded. Sign the certificate. The time, place, and situation are all correct. The spoils of war have been handed over, and the knife is also there. There's no need to investigate unless someone claims credit in the future. Xia Bing nodded. Killing someone at 1,000-pound realm was nothing. The three of them valued it because the ones who killed were students. Otherwise, it didn't matter who received the credit. This matter was over. After Chen Hao left happily, the old academy head suddenly said, Old Lu, do you believe him? Lu Wenyan said indifferently, it doesn't matter if he believes it or not. We'll know if he's a genius or a mediocre person when he enters the war academy. If a mediocre person insists on entering by himself, he can't blame anyone even if he dies in the end. Besides, Suyu was there at that time. He's smart and might have killed that fellow. There's no need to investigate this matter further. That's true. There's no need to publicize this matter. Be careful of the all-races sect's revenge. Also, don't let other students learn it. This is very dangerous. The old academy head smiled and said, speaking of which, Old Lu, that student of yours is like you. He's very calculative. He doesn't want extra points but merit points. In any case, he doesn't need extra points to get into the Great Xia Civilization Academy. Lu Wenyan smiled and quickly scolded, that's because he's capable. Can you kill someone at 1,000-pound realm when you were at Origin Opening Realm? The old academy head was speechless. The two of them quickly smiled. There was no need to probe further. In any case, the academy might have another student from the War Academy this year. Xia Bing's approval was enough. The Longwu guards had a lot of authority. If they wanted to bribe the Longwu guards, they might as well spend this money to go to the War Academy. After all, it was not like they did not sponsor a huge sum of money to enter the academy every year. At the side, Xia Bing ignored the two of them, signed the document and turned to leave. When he reached the door, he thought for a moment and said, I believe that he was a participant, but I'm not sure if he was the one who killed him. It was either him or Suyu. Since Suyu didn't come to claim his credit, it's his. However, he doesn't have the talent or the strength. It might not be a good thing for him to insist on going to the War Academy. I hope the two of you can explain it to him. We will. Xia Bing did not say much. There were still many doubts about this matter, such as who was the one who killed the person outside. However, as the governor and Lu Wenyan had said, it was not too important. You choose your own path. Just don't regret it in the end. Chapter 46, Full of Malice, 1. Chapter 46, Full of Malice, 1. The Heavenly E-God Mantra, 1,000-pound chapter, Blood Coagulation Saber. A cultivation technique and a martial technique. These were the secret manuals that Suyu had obtained this time. Suyu took a look at the blood saber and threw it away. This kind of martial technique was very low level. There was no need to look at it too much. There were 4 ranks of heaven, earth, black, yellow, for cultivation and martial arts. Each level was divided into profound realm, advanced realm, intermediate realm and elementary realm. 4 ranks and 16 minor levels. This was the division of cultivation and martial arts among all races. Suyu took a glance at the blood saber. It was an intermediate yellow rank. Even though it wasn't the most trashy, it wasn't anything good either. There were many of them in the mid-grade academies, so he couldn't be bothered to look at it. Even though the Heavenly God mantra only had the 1,000-pound realm chapter, Suyu read this cultivation technique for an extended period of time. Bai Feng said that the Heavenly God mantra was trash because he was standing at a different angle and position. How could a cultivation technique that could tempt the experts of the all races sect be trash? Black rank profound realm. That was the level of this cultivation technique. Of course, Suyu only obtained the 1,000-pound realm chapter. Even though the cultivation techniques were called heaven, earth, black, and yellow, they actually included the cultivation techniques of all the races in the world. Suyu wasn't sure about the specifics, but many invincible human experts seem to only cultivate earth rank or black rank profound realm cultivation techniques. More than 300 years ago, when the Anping dynasty opened, the human race did not have so many powerful cultivation techniques to choose from. The Heavenly God mantra. Suyu read it over and over again. It was a body-forging technique that absorbed vitality to temper the body. The human body mainly relies on the acupoints of the body to connect with vitality. The more acupoints you open, the more vitality you absorb, and the more vitality you store. With the 9 apertures of the essence opening realm as the foundation, Qian Jun will open the other apertures and absorb vitality to temper his body. The Heavenly God mantra opens 72 apertures, and when the vitality fills up all 72 apertures, you will reach the 9th level of the 1,000-pound realm. This was not the first time Suyu had come into contact with a 1,000-pound realm cultivation technique. Long ago, he had come into contact with the military's basic 1,000-pound technique, the 1,000-pound art. It was simple and crude. This was what most people in the military cultivated. It was not that there were no better cultivation techniques, but that cultivating these cultivation techniques required the support of vitality and a strong body to support the opening of more acupoints. Even if ordinary cultivators obtained a heaven-rank cultivation technique, they would not be able to successfully cultivate it. There was not enough vitality. At the very least, the vitality of the human realm was not enough to maintain these people's cultivation. His physical body was not strong enough, and his foundation was not firm enough. If he opened too many acupoints, his body would collapse and explode from the vital energy. The 1,000-pound art could open 36 acupoints and was considered a top-notch yellow-rank cultivation technique. It was already quite good. This could also quickly increase the combat strength of the soldiers. Their advancement was also relatively faster and required fewer resources. It was not that some people did not have stronger cultivation techniques, but in the end, they switched to the 1,000-pound technique because it was easier to advance and extend their lifespan. The Heavenly God mantra was already considered a relatively powerful cultivation technique to be able to open 72 apertures and store vitality in the 1,000 June realm. The opening of the apertures was not random. The Heavenly God mantra described the process of opening the 72 apertures in detail, the order before and after, and the final vital energy circulation. At this time, randomly opening the apertures could easily cause this circulation to collapse. At that time, the vital energy would dissipate, and at worst, the body would explode and die. Suyu looked at it for a long time and finally confirmed that it was indeed much more profound and magical than the 1,000-pound art. After cultivating to the 9th level of 1,000-pound art, he was much stronger than those who cultivated the 1,000-pound technique. He was stronger and had a more sturdy body. As for whether he could kill soldiers of the same realm on the battlefield, that would depend on his combat experience and willpower. With great strength and a strong body, he might not necessarily win. Opening 72 apertures is considered a good thing. Suyu had never thought of cultivating this. However, by drawing parallels, he would be able to strengthen his foundation. He studied the language of the all sects, which was actually within his research scope. For example, he did not know the location of the 72 apertures of the Heavenly God mantra. Now, he knew that if he encountered the disciples of the Heavenly God sect again, he could target them to destroy their apertures and cut off their vitality circulation system. Therefore, cultivation techniques could not be leaked easily. 72 aperture acupoints were the foundation of their strength and also their weakness. Not all acupoints were weak. Once a portion of them were destroyed, it would cause the tragic state of the previous Hall Master with level 4 heaven rank. His vitality would dissipate, and he would suffer a backlash and die. This was why Bai Feng could easily kill the other party. Bai Feng took less than 10 seconds to kill the Hall Master. He had already spoken for half the time. The rest of the time was spent destroying the other party's key acupoints, so he killed quickly. If he really fought with brute force, even if Bai Feng could kill him, it would definitely not be that easy. Of course, the Soaring Realms Heavenly God mantra was even more complicated. It opened more acupoints, and many of the weaknesses of the 1,000-pound realm were no longer weaknesses. Therefore, this meant that Bai Feng had also studied the Heavenly God mantra deeply. Su Yu read for almost 2 hours before putting down the cultivation technique. He was unable to cultivate the imminent realm cultivation technique now and could only study it for a while. If he was powerful enough, he might be able to deduce the Heavenly God race's cultivation technique. Of course, this was not something Su Yu or even Bai Feng could do. Cultivation techniques and martial techniques won't be of much help to me at this stage. However, blood essence. Su Yu had also seen the 3 drops of blood essence. There was a trace of the creature's will left in the blood essence when it was alive. In other words, he could roughly determine the species of the blood essence. Chapter 47, Full of Malice, 2. Chapter 47, Full of Malice, 2. 1 drop of the iron-winged bird's blood essence, 1 drop of the fire pig's blood essence, and the rest should be the blood essence of the bloodthirsty rabbit. 3 drops of blood essence from 3 common race blood essence. There were no blood essence from gods and devils, no powerful race blood essence. That's a given. Where could the members of the All Races sect in 1,000-pound realm go to obtain those powerful blood essences? These common blood essences were the main source of support for their cultivation. The essence blood of the all sects could provide rich vitality and strengthen the body. It was very helpful to the 1,000-pound realm. 1,000-pound realm of the human race mainly required the use of blood essence and medicinal pills for cultivation. Even though there were no treasures, even these 3 drops of blood essence were worth at least 150,000 yuan in the Xia Trading Company. Not bad. Blood essence is worth 150,000 yuan, body tempering pills are worth 150,000 yuan, and 10 gold coins are worth 400,000 in ping coins. Su Yu was still very satisfied. Wealth came from danger. Even though it was a little dangerous this time, he had obtained more than 400,000 cultivation techniques. If he handed them over, there would actually be some rewards. Even if the human race had these cultivation techniques, they would also give some rewards because this meant that he had killed a member of the All Races sect. After calculating, his net worth instantly exceeded 700,000. Su Yu grinned. If his father knew, he wondered if he would feel inferior. He earned more in a day than Su Yu did in 18 years. That night, Su Yu started dreaming again. The dream continued. On the day the Iron-Wing Bird race's blood essence opened the atlas, Su Yu actually didn't dream anymore. However, from the next day onwards, he started to dream. At this moment, Su Yu's dreams didn't last every day. These few days, he would sometimes dream every other day, and sometimes even every 2 days. The dream didn't continue to open. Su Yu suspected that the previous dream had almost brought out all the races. What was open now might be some of the remaining races, so he would replenish the indexes every now and then. There were many common races that Su Yu didn't see or couldn't remember. Su Yu had a little doubt that these weak races would have to wait for the subsequent opening. They were too weak, so they were left behind by the dream because he might have forgotten about the atlas. Su Yu vaguely remembered the monster he dreamed of that night. It was somewhat similar to the rotary turtle recorded in the All-Sex Atlas. As for whether it was true or not, he could buy a drop of the rotary turtle's blood essence to try. However, after some consideration, Su Yu realized that it might not be of much use to open the rotary turtle atlas now. After that, his body was still a little overloaded after devouring the essence blood. The mackerel, ironwing bird race and rotary turtle were all races that Su Yu could identify. This meant that the races he saw now were starting to become more common, and it also meant that Su Yu's knowledge was increasing. If not for the fact that he had read a lot, it would be difficult for him to distinguish these races through some details and blurry figures. In the Nanyuan Mid-Grade Academy. On the way, Su Yu had already learned of the results from Chen Hao yesterday and was slightly worried. However, the matter had already been decided. Since Chen Hao wanted to go to the War Academy, Su Yu couldn't just watch as the opportunity passed. That was why he asked Chen Hao to receive the merit. Only then would Chen Hao have a chance to enter the War Academy. Su Yu had just entered the class when he was called away by a coach with some trepidation. In the teacher's office. The coach had already left. At this moment, only Lu Wenyan and a young man were in the office. The young man was Bai Feng. Lu Wenyan was reading, and so was Bai Feng. Bai Feng held a large book and squatted at the side, looking at it happily. He was squatting and not sitting. It was as if he had seen something exciting. His smile was bright, and he did not look like an expert who could easily kill a fourth-level soaring realm expert. When Su Yu entered, the two of them did not greet him. Su Yu greeted him and stood at the side, waiting nervously. He didn't know why his teacher was looking for him. Lu Wenyan, who had stepped into the soaring realm, had stronger willpower. At this moment, he secretly glanced at Su Yu and nodded silently. He was indeed at the fourth level of the origin opening realm. Previously, his will had not materialized, so he did not feel it. Not only was he at the fourth level of the origin opening realm, but he also sensed a faint vitality fluctuation in his right ear. He even felt that he was almost at the fifth level of the origin opening realm. After a moment of silence, Lu Wenyan looked up and said calmly, "Have you been cultivating these days?" "Amen." "Have you been studying?" "I slacked off a little." Su Yu was a little embarrassed. "After my father left these few days, I've been a little worried, so I focused my attention on cultivation. It's good to be vigilant in times of peace. It's also good to cultivate hard, but..." Lu Wenyan said unhappily, "Reading is also cultivation. Study hard and become someone one day. I won't stop you from cultivation. This is what I should do, but you can't let forsake studying. When you signed up for the War Academy earlier, I knew how you felt. But I also said before that if you were to walk the path of the physical body alone, how long would it take you to reach the sky? But if you're knowledgeable and read thousands of books, it's completely different." As you can see, Bai Feng is an assistant researcher at the Civilization Academy. He's 28 years old and has been in the Great Xia Civilization Academy for 9 years. In terms of physical strength and willpower, he's at the 6th level of the soaring realm. In fact, his combat strength is stronger because of his strong willpower. Ordinary people at the 7th level of the soaring realm might not be able to defeat him. Lu Wenyan said in a low voice, "He's only one of the many mediocre people in the Great Xia Civilization Academy. If even he can cultivate to this point in 9 years, you will only be stronger than him." Bai Feng was speechless. Bai Feng, who was reading, looked up and glanced at Lu Wenyan. He thought for a moment and continued reading. Chapter 48, Full of Malice, 3. Chapter 48, Full of Malice, 3. Whatever you say. What can he say when the old man is using me to beat his students? I'm mediocre. I'm mediocre to become a researcher. Even though I'm not the most monstrous batch of the Great Xia Civilization Academy, I'm still among the top. To step into the 6th level of the soaring realm before the age of 30, and even have hopes of stepping into a higher realm in the next 2 years, was this called mediocrity? Does Martial Uncle have some misconception about mediocrity? Su Yu hurriedly said, Teacher, don't worry. I'll take care of both sides from now on. I've studied for many years, so I won't give up now. I'm glad you understand. Lu Wenyan said earnestly, you cultivate very quickly. You didn't pay attention to it in the past, but now that you do, you'll soon reach the 4th level of the origin opening realm, or even the 5th level. Perhaps you have some misconception and think that you're more suitable for the War Academy's path of the physical body. But I have to say, even if you go to the War Academy, do you want to reach the 9th level of the origin opening realm in 1 year? Do you want to reach the 9th level of the 10,000 stone realm in 5 years? This is considered a good genius. In 9 years, he has a chance of stepping into the soaring realm. But you have to understand how big the difference is between the 1st and 6th levels of the soaring realm. You might be stuck in the soaring realm for the next few decades. You're only at the 4th level of the origin opening realm. Don't get the wrong impression. You're really very powerful and talented. We're only a small city in the Nanyuan. Even the Nanyuan can produce 4 or 5 levels. What do you think of the other cities? What do you think of the Grand Xia residence? At the side, Bai Feng chuckled and said, I've paid attention to the other cities. There are a few geniuses at the 7th level of the origin opening realm. Of course, the 7th level of the origin opening realm is already out of reach for the Nanyuan. However, there are many at the 7th level of the origin opening realm in the Great Xia Prefecture. There are even some at the 8th level. At the 8th level of the origin opening realm, he had opened the Purple Palace aperture and officially cultivated martial techniques. His vitality could barely be used continuously. At this time, the cultivator would have a certain level of combat strength. There are also those at the 9th level of the origin opening realm. They're only 9 apertures away from stepping into the 1,000-pound realm. Of course, these guys haven't stepped into the 1,000-pound realm yet. They're waiting to enter the academy before advancing. This time, Lu Wenyan didn't interrupt him. He looked at Su Yu and sighed. It's not that teacher wants you to apply for the Great Xia Civilization Academy. I just want you to understand that your talent isn't in the physical body. Even if you have talent, there is, still a huge gap. The path of the physical body consumes a large number of natural treasures. You need blood essence, medicinal pills, battles, weapons. The scholarly would be poor but rich in martial arts. Su Yu, as an ordinary person, if you don't have any talent in literature, I'm very happy that you can enter the War Academy and fight for a chance. But you have a talent for this. I hope you can go further and can go higher. The Great Xia Civilization Academy doesn't care about these things in the early stages. The consumption won't be too great. Even if you don't have money or combat power, you still have a chance of reaching the sky. But when you reach the War Academy, it's very difficult to have hope. Lu Wenyan looked at him and said softly, do you know why I didn't persuade others? Or even Lu Yu? Even if Lu Yu applied for the War Academy. Because her family is rich and can support her future cultivation. Su Yu, this is the reason why teacher hopes that you can walk the path of civilization. I hope that you won't become an ordinary person because of your material shortcomings. Even if you have talent, resources won't be given to you for nothing. There won't be a free lunch in this world. There are many geniuses in the War Academy. You're not outstanding, so it'll be harder for you. I hope you can go more smoothly. Su Yu nodded vigorously, feeling a little touched. He knew that these were his teacher's heartfelt words. For a commoner like him, it was indeed difficult to afford some things. If his future was set at 10,000 stone realm, it would naturally not be a problem. However, if his future was set at quickly rising into the sky, his family was clearly not enough to support all of this. Teacher, I know. I didn't think so much about it before. I didn't think so deeply. I'll work on it from here. I'm glad you understand. Lu Wenyan smiled. In the next few days, let Bai Feng guide you. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask him. Even though he's not outstanding in the Great Xia Civilization Academy, it's enough to guide you. Bai Feng was speechless. After being said so many times by Lu Wenyan, Bai Feng almost doubted himself. Am I really not outstanding? I, Bai Feng, am quite famous in the Great Xia Civilization Academy and even in the Great Xia Prefecture, right? I have a chance to advance above Soaring Realm before the age of 30. Moreover, I'm one of the few assistant researchers before the age of 30. Why did he feel like he was not worth mentioning here? Why? Bai Feng was extremely depressed. Martial uncle, when you said that I was mediocre, think about yourself. Why do you have to belittle yourself when you have more than 70 resistance? Glancing at Su Yu and seeing that he seemed to agree with Lu Wenyan's words, Bai Feng smiled. Young people were really inexperienced. You'll know what your brother Feng is like when you get into the Great Xia Civilization Academy. Then you'll understand how difficult it is for you to get to where I am. Don't discuss with ants about the size of elephants. Ants have limited imagination. Only by standing at a certain height could ants understand that elephants were huge beyond imagination. I'll be staying at Nanyuan Academy for the next 2 days. I'll leave in 2 days. You can find me anytime. After saying this, Bai Feng took the book and left with a smile. When he was far away, Lu Wenyan suddenly said in a low voice, learn well. You have to cherish these 2 days. Use your greatest wisdom to exploit him and empty him. Even though you can't do it, this is the greatest time teacher can buy you. Even if you reach the Great Xia Civilization Academy, you might not have this chance, understand? I understand it now. Su Yu was slightly shocked. Did his teacher mean that even if he went to the Great Xia Civilization Academy, he might not be able to receive guidance from a researcher? Assistant Researcher Course, 1 class, 5 merit points. 1 lesson, 1 hour. Lu Wenyan said softly, 2 days, 48 hours. Don't sleep, go and learn. If you finish learning, you might not be able to earn 240 merit points in a few years. Go, I believe in you. Thank you, teacher. At this moment, Su Yu's eyes lit up. Master and disciple looked at each other and smiled broadly. In the distance, Bai Feng suddenly felt a malicious intent attack him. He shuddered and turned around. He couldn't help but curse softly. Martial uncle was going to set him up. How would he screw me over? Chapter 49, Above Soaring Realm, 1. Chapter 49, Above Soaring Realm, 1. In the teacher's dormitory. A house with 4 bedrooms and 2 halls was quite large. Lu Wenyan could ignore Bai Feng, but not the academy head or Nanyuan. No one could ignore a researcher, even if they had an assistant. Hence, Bai Feng's temporary residence wasn't inferior to any teacher. In fact, it was even better. Bai Feng sat on the sofa while Su Yu and Lu Yu stood obediently at the side like primary school students, waiting for him to finish watching television. Pfft. Rows of people were dragged out and beheaded. Yesterday, the Longwu guards of the Great Xia Prefecture led the prefecture army and killed thousands of all races sect members, capturing over 3,000 people. In total, they had nearly 10,000 people. The Great Xia Prefecture's policy was very iron-blooded. If one was caught, there was no need for a trial. Once one's identity was confirmed, there was only one word, kill. Today, they were beheaded in a live broadcast. Over 3,000 people didn't sound like a lot, but in reality, they had been hacking for over 10 minutes and hadn't finished yet. Lu Yu didn't dare to look too much and avoided the television. Su Yu also felt a little uncomfortable. It wasn't pity, but he felt a little nauseous after seeing so much blood spurting out of his head. Bai Feng, on the other hand, was watching with great interest. As he drank his tea, he smiled and commented, "There are many sects in the all-races sect, but the Heavenly God sect is one of the stronger ones. The sect leader is a top-notch expert, but he was completely defeated when he came to the Great Xia Prefecture this time around. The sect leader died, and almost all of the elite members were killed. It seems that the Great Xia Prefecture has profited greatly this time. Su Yu and Lu Yu didn't quite understand what he meant. Had they profited? Don't you understand? Bai Feng smiled. Isn't that simple? All the elites are dead, and the sect leader is dead. Who killed him? How many people in the Great Xia Prefecture can kill him? Since he dared to come to the Great Xia Prefecture and cause such a huge commotion, he must be fearless and feel that he won't die. No one will court death. Since that's the case, he definitely has the confidence. What is behind this confidence? Could it be the other sect leaders of the All Races sect? No, it must be because the backer behind him has come. That's why he has the guts to cause trouble in the Great Xia Prefecture. Su Yu's gaze flickered as he asked softly, Teacher Bai, do you mean that the Heavenly God race has sent people over? That's right, they must have come. Since the sect leader is dead, is the guy from the Heavenly God race dead? If he was, don't you think it's a game? Bai Feng smiled. I'm afraid the prefecture lord is in trouble this time. Trouble? That's right, trouble. Just wait and see. The various war academies, including the War Academy, will probably surround him and apply for the flesh and blood of the other treasures of the Heavenly God race. Bai Feng chuckled. I wonder if our academy's academy head has returned yet. We have to get some good stuff back as soon as possible. We're rich. The blood essence of God race, flesh of the God race, weapons of the God race, cultivation arts of the God race. TSK, if we don't get rich, who will? The prefecture lord is probably going crazy from the noise. Right now, I'm guessing that the Great Xia Prefecture will definitely be in an uproar. When he said this, Su Yu and Lu Yu naturally understood. The two of them also had looks of yearning on their faces. It wasn't that they truly yearned to obtain these things, but just hearing about them made their blood boil. The blood essence of gods and devils, the flesh of gods and devils, these were all supreme treasures. Teacher Bai, are the people from the Heavenly God race very strong? They are naturally very strong. Bai Feng looked at the two of them and smiled. My words are more straightforward, so please don't take it to heart. To the people of Nanyuan, the soaring realm is the sky. However, to the Great Xia Prefecture, the soaring realm is only the backbone of strength, the starting point for experts. People from small places will never be able to imagine how strong experts are in their entire lives. Actually, there's no need to know either. In their eyes, no matter whether they are in the soaring realm or above the soaring realm, these people can easily destroy them. In terms of cultivation, the origin opening realm, 1,000-pound realm, and 10,000 stone realm are the foundation. They are the foundation to strengthen the body so that you won't explode from the origin chi. Only when you reach the soaring realm, in the various academies and armies, including sects, the all-skies battlefield, the sea world, and the sanctuary on earth, will you have the qualifications to speak. Only then can you be considered to have truly stepped onto the path of experts. Su Yu's eyes lit up. His knowledge and experience were insufficient. Nanyuan was too small, and the sky here was too small. Teacher Bai, I know that there are realms above the soaring realm. My father once said that when he was in the Devil Suppression Army, the Major General was at the Cloud Realm. Is the Cloud Realm above the first level of the soaring realm? Yes. Bai Feng drank his tea and said calmly, how far can you fly in the air? How high can you fly? Soaring realm is ultimately just the start of an expert. You can walk on clouds and soar above the clouds. At this time, you can say that you are an expert. No matter how many 10,000 stone realm or 1,000 pounds you have, what can they do to you? I will walk on clouds and not land on the ground. I will be 10,000 feet above the ground. No matter how strong your arm strength is or how strong your army formation is, can you shoot me in the air? In the all-skies battlefield, almost all the captains who can command 10,000 people are at the Cloud Realm. Cloud Realm. If you join the Longwu Guards, you'll be more than qualified to be someone like Zhang Qianfu. Among the Longwu Guards, the strongest is the Soaring Realm, while the weaker ones are at the 9th level of the 10,000 Stone Realm. Almost all the Centurions are at the mid-stage or 4th level of the Soaring Realm. Amongst 1,000 people, there were 5 Longwu Guards, 3 of whom are at the Cloud Realm, and 2 are at the 9th level of the Soaring Realm. Su Yu's throat twitched. So strong. What about the Deputy General of the Longwu Guards? The general was the great Xia Prefecture Lord. Needless to say, how strong was the Vice General? Bai Feng glanced at him from the corner of his eye and chuckled. Above the Cloud Realm is the Mountain Sea Realm. Every move it makes shakes the world. With a single strike, mountains will collapse and seas will dry up. It's unbelievably powerful. Then above the Mountain Sea Realm, Su Yu hurriedly spoke, I've heard of peak experts and invincible experts. Are they at the Mountain Sea Realm?